The right sheets can take your sleep and your style to the next level. With Boll & Branch, the upgrade has never been more affordable. Every set is crafted from 100% organic cotton. They get softer and softer over time. That's why they have thousands of 5-star reviews, and even 3 U.S. presidents have Boll & Branch sheets. Try them for 30 nights, and if you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free U.S. shipping with promo code BLEACHER, spelled BOLL and branch.com. That's bollandbranch.com, promo code BLEACHER.
Save it for the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Do you smell it? Do you feel it in your bones?
I do.
Can you let it go into your brain that the NFL draft is this week?
I thought you were talking about this injury in your neck from weightlifting. You've lifted weights 4 times in your life and you're already hurt. I want to know more about it.
Is that really where we want to start?
I do.
We're
going to get to the draft. Don't worry.
All right. Here's how this is going to go. We're going to talk a little bit of NFL news.
Right.
We're going to get to a interview with Sam Darnold,
which was
and
awesome.
His mom,
yep.
Which they literally just left.
Right.
And I gotta admit, it's really hard for me not to like that kid. I could see why every team in the NFL is like, I'm going to bet on him. And then we are going to do Sims's mock draft. He just got it done. I'm going to give you 2 minutes per pick, and you're going to go through, and you're going to get it's official. This is the Sims official mock draft.
The way I'm doing this mock draft, I'm not going to go
what you're hearing.
Oh, I hear this, or I would take this guy, but I heard they might take that guy, so I can cover myself to where I'm right for all 32 picks. No, I've watched all these guys. I'd say I've watched probably anywhere between 130 and 150 guys now.
And your thing is, you put your GM hat on for that team.
For every team.
And this is who you would pick at that pick.
It is, yes. So I'm doing it totally through my eyes, my evaluations, which I put a lot of time and effort into. And
I give a shout out to the old Levitard crew.
Yeah, let's do it.
Take a look. They made this for Sims. The Sims' top 70 quarterback rankings. It's actually 71.
It is.
Including the new backup for Blake Bortles, Cody Kessler.
Did we really ever talk about how amazing that was? Were the Jaguars
let's bring
the quarterback that won't threaten Blake Bortles?
Yeah, because they traded for him.
I know.
And we broke it live on the podcast. I said, you're not going to believe this. Now
right.
You believe me?
I do.
Yeah.
Right.
But Sims will be drinking out of these cups at the office now for quite some time.
How about a nice warm glass of shut the hell up?
Shout out Allison Turner.
Yes.
She's the best. And then, of course, Dan and Stu Gotts and all those guys.
Yep.
Quick news before we get... You really want to talk about my shoulder?
I do. Oh, it's your shoulder.
No, it's my neck.
Yes.
It's like my back of my neck.
Right, so please tell me this, because I'd like to hear this, Dr. Kevorkian.
No, so a few months ago, I was doing pull-ups, and this is my problem. I'm not that strong.
Well, I was going to say, can you pull yourself up?
Yes.
Okay, wasn't sure.
So I was doing a pull-up, and when you when you get tired, you stick your neck up?
Right.
Well, I heard it like that. And the back of my neck,
doing the Woody smile?
Doing the Woody smile in this hoodie. And now, every now and then, if I'm putting up some weight and I am not activating my core and getting everything ready, and I I'll tweak my neck instantly.
Just
and
doing a pull or a push?
It's, at this point now, it's been everything.
It's been everything.
Yeah.
But so you originally
pulling up.
Right.
Doing a pull up and being like
and
this,
point to the area.
Boom. And then right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you got for me?
I mean, it could be...
This is awful podcast content.
No, it's great. I love this. It could be a number of things. I mean, it could literally just be maybe a deficiency with your chest muscles, right? Something like that's actually affecting it.
Interesting.
But I'm going to say that it probably just pulled a slight bit because it was like, damn, I've never pulled this big fucker up here before.
Probably.
Hold on, abort mission and pull.
I think that's what's happening.
And you're still healing.
It's the point now where I go and I work out and I feel it and I'm just like, this
stinks. That stinks.
But after draft, we're going to get jacked for the summer because it's Sims and Lefkoe on the road. Little bit of news nuggets. Patriots, do you put any stock into this? This week is nuts with nonsense. Patriots met Lamar Jackson 2 weeks ago and are intrigued and impressed.
New England doesn't do ghost guest performances at their facility.
They don't do a top
come
30
up here,
workout.
so let's trick some people, and we're going to waste a day so we can trick number 25 in the draft.
Dude, I want the Patriots to draft Lamar Jackson so bad.
I'll just throw this out there. The New England Patriots have been ahead of the curve in the NFL with the way the game's played, the rules for the last 20 years. That's why the New England Patriots.
People forget that when they got Gronk and Aaron Hernandez,
right,
the tight end position was seemingly out of fashion.
Right. And the other thing they're bringing into fashion right now is the fullback is back into. Right. If you look at the quality offenses in football, they use the fullback like the New England Patriots.
James Devlin.
Right. Whether it was the year I was there and we broke the record for most plays run in a season because of the Chip Kelly code words that we implemented in the offense. Whether it was they said, you know what, we're a balanced football team to win the first 2 Super Bowls. Oh, the rules changed? We'll throw it 45 times a game. So
that's my number one wish for the draft. It would be Lamar Jackson goes to the Patriots.
It would be amazing. I'll throw these two. These are things I thought of. I knew they couldn't get in contact with him either. That's what I've been told. They had a hard time actually scheduling the visit there. From what I was told, I don't know that 100%, but the person that told me is
Lamar being Lamar.
Right. And the other thing is we talked about them being ahead of the curve. I know how much Belichick just the read option and the RPOs, and I do think he thinks the league is going that way. It was a big reason why you heard the rumors of Greg Schiano almost going up there as a defensive mind.
Right.
Because he's from college, he respects Greg Schiano, he can help me out with this RPO thing. And I just wonder, and also the last thing I'll say about this particular topic, he's drafted quarterbacks from Bobby Petrino before. He drafted Ryan Mallett. So I'm guaranteeing there's something there. He goes, well, it's a pro-style offense. He's been in some of this before. This won't be total. I know, it'd be amazing.
It's just so great because draft season is annoying for this reason. Nobody knows anything, and they use the draft to confirm or deny the beliefs they've had for the last few months, and the draft doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's where the GMs see people. But when you're drafted by the Patriots, it's a Belichick seal of approval. And Lamar Jackson, like I told you, I was doing an interview on Sunday. And they're like, you think Lamar's going to go in the first round? I was like, yes. I'm positive.
Yeah, he's going in the first.
Whether it's the end of the first or he's going in the first.
He's going in the first.
But if he goes to the Patriots and he's the heir to Tom Brady, oh, what a story.
I know.
What a story.
It'd be the perfect scenario for him. And I'll even throw this in, and I'm going to give my dad credit, because my dad and I had this conversation this weekend, and I think he made a really good point with this. And I'm going to say where he actually had this conversation with Bill Cowher. So I think Bill Cowher is the one that should get the credit for this. But he told me about it. And I thought it made a lot of sense. Going back to the Lamar Jackson receiver conversation, right? And trust me, when I heard it, I was like, what are you about to tell me,
What
Phil
are Phil Simms and Bill Cowher talking about Lamar Jackson receivers? This is going to be archaic.
So this is that's where I was like, what, you guys are clueless, whatever. But he goes on and he goes, Bill said something really smart to me. He goes, if I get Lamar Jackson, he goes, I'm drafting him to be the quarterback. There's no doubt about that. But I might throw him out on the field as a receiver in the first year or two. And my dad goes, oh, yeah, really? Why? And he goes, because, one, you just get out on the field, right? There's something to that, which there really is. There's true value into being out on a real field in a real game.
With 70,000.
And people trying to knock your head off, right? So getting out there on the field, feeling that environment, feeling the speed of the game. And then this is the part that really got me. I was
Future trick plays?
Well, that could be part of it, certainly. And he certainly has a skill set to be effective in that position. But he's going to be in the huddle. He's going to get to hear a Tom Brady call plays. He's going to know, you know what? I'm hot off these guys. Tom told me I'm hot off these guys. So now he's going to learn some of the things he needs to learn about the quarterback position as well, right? He's going to know, when these two guys blitz, I got to turn around and get my eyes back to the quarterback quick. So there's things he can learn from quarterback. I just thought it was a funny point. I'm just bringing it up out of nowhere, but I could see the logic there. Like, where if he goes to a team like that or the Chargers, where the quarterback's set up, maybe you do sneak him on the field just to get him out there and get used to the speed of the game a little bit.
I don't know. I just want the kid to succeed.
He's gonna.
Yes.
He's gonna.
The other story that caught my attention, because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen, is now joining the ownership team of the Milwaukee Bucks. One of the other owners said he's a legendary player. He would be the first athlete that's currently active in the league that would own a piece of a major sports franchise. In an interview, he said he wanted to have stake in the region that he's been in for 13 years, and he'd love to end his career with the Packers. We just talked last week about how this contract wasn't getting done and Rodgers needing leverage. What a crazy notion. I love this move.
Yeah.
It's just, it's Aaron Rodgers, man.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers offseason, he's dating an IndyCar driver, he met Dalai Lama, and he's owning a part of an NBA team. What did Tom Brady do this on his offseason? Nothing. Nothing.
It is, I mean, first I would like to know how much of the stock in the team
probably
you bought.
like Drake or Jay-Z, like a decimal percentage.
I know,
point.
but it also just speaks to the
figurehead.
money that quarterbacks are making this day and age, too, to where that can even be a conversation. That's the first place my mind went. And I think he's done a phenomenal – I do believe that. He wants to be a Packer for the rest of his life. Who wouldn't want to be? I mean, playing for the Packers is like playing for the Yankees or the Red Sox. It's special. It certainly is. And he's done a great job, I think, endearing himself to that region in general, whether it's Wisconsin going to Final Fours and
Correct.
him being there. You know what I mean? That's just you're showing you're part of the community. You're invested in the rest of the community. It's not just about him and the Packers. He's giving the love back, and I think that goes a long way with people in the community.
If we don't get a chance to sit down with Aaron Rodgers soon, I'm going to be very
They've still
upset.
promised them to me. They did. I mean,
I wasn't putting that on you. That was more like a
but
Bleacher
I
thing.
also came out before the year and was like, he's coming on this year, and then he got hurt, and that kind of wrinkled things.
You're just a disappointing dad that doesn't deliver. I'm used to it by now.
Yeah.
All right, so Sam Darnold was in studio, presented by K Jewelers. I want to say this. I saw a lot of tweets that were like, yeah, roast him, all that stuff. When guys come in here, we just want to kick it with them.
Yeah.
We want to shoot the shit, have a good time, enjoy them.
This is not football evaluating time when they come in. This is a time for us to know them and just get to see their personality and have a good time.
Both Sims and I came away extremely impressed, and I think that you guys will see why. Here is Sam Darnold and his mom, Chris.
So this is a podcast?
This is a podcast. Sims and Lefkoe podcast.
I mean, I don't know how much you guys listen to Joe Rogan's, but you guys
get
listen
down on
to
Joe Rogan?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Really?
Crazy.
He knows. I mean, I know who he is. I have not listened to the podcast.
You don't
but-
have Instagram and you don't listen to Joe Rogan's podcast?
Yes.
I
I'm
would
a
say
total
Joe
loser.
Rogan was one of the first guys to do podcasts all the time. And it's just, Sims, you would love it. He talks about the environment, then he talks about
You've always said that.
Yes.
What helps him is that he does it almost every day.
Every day.
And I think
he's up to
that's-
like episode like 1,500 or something like that.
Right.
It's nuts.
Dude, I'm a 37-year-old dad, okay? Got an 11-year-old daughter, 7-year-old. I don't have time to be tweeting as I'm working, too.
All right, well, I'm just going to keep all
Let's
this
just
in.
do it.
Is mom getting in on this?
She's
or-
coming in a little
She's
bit
coming
later.
in a little
She's
later.
the enforcer.
Sorry.
We have Sam Darnold in the seat.
Possibly number one pick from USC.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Mom will be here later, but for right now, you're center stage.
You
big
are
guy.
center
Okay,
stage.
cool. Awesome.
Start off where you want to start off.
This is where we have to start off. The most
Okay.
important question of your week right here. Please tell me more about Dick Hammer.
Oh,
Okay?
my gosh.
Grandpa.
Thank you.
Should we
Because-
bring in mom for this one?
So
Is
Mom-
that-
Mom
she was
should
saying
come
she's
in?
the expert. Well, I want to hear like the grandson perspective.
Okay,
I
I'd like-
didn't. He passed away when I was 2, so I don't know him that well. So
I'm fascinated by the story. Let me just tell this to the listeners out there.
I don't even know if he's real.
It's an amazing. I learned it through doing the Notre Dame games on NBC this year.
Okay.
And they
Yeah.
had, so when USC and you guys came to town, they had a little montage of things that had gone on in your life. And your grandfather, whose name is Dick Hammer, which is an all-time
Which is
great
pretty
name. I
dope.
mean, it's pretty awesome. And then the fact that he's the Marlboro man and this great history, I just was like,
he was
man.
an Olympic volleyball player, and my favorite story, that's not mine, is he was, and I'm going to say, captain of the LA County Fire Department, went and then played a member of the fire department in a show, and then reportedly said, I'd rather save lives than pretend to on television. Get up here.
Come on, come
on.
over here, Mom.
Okay. Hello.
The real
sit right-
savior.
Yes.
Hello.
All right, so yeah, tell us about him. This is your dad.
So, yeah,
Oh, my gosh.
dad. And I mean, I often think about the look on his face just with regard to how proud he'd be of him. But when I was growing up, he was a firefighter, for LA County.
Here, throw these bad boys.
Is there a mic on?
I don't
Should
know
we
if my
start
mom's
over?
mic is
I don't
on.
know if my mom, his mom.
Mike's on.
I almost said my mom.
We need Chris to belt it out.
There we
So-
go. I just called Sam's mom my mom. I don't know if my mom's
okay.
mic's on either.
I'll fix you.
My students do that all the time.
That's all right. All right, so please
Okay.
start at the beginning one more time about your father.
Okay, so my dad was a firefighter
Right.
when I was growing up, and he substitute taught on his days off. And when we were growing up, he got a job as captain of the fire department inside Universal Studios.
Oh, gotcha.
And so that's how he fell into the
Right.
Screen Actors Guild, and he did a Post Toasties ad, and then he had this rugged look. They liked was one of the first Los Angeles cowboys for the Marlboro ad.
Right.
Man.
So yeah, and then but he went to USC. He played basketball there,
Right.
and then he played volleyball. And at the time he started playing volleyball when he was 21 years old, and played in the 1964 Olympics after that.
So you're telling me all the athletic prowess in your family comes from your side of the family, basically.
Well, okay. My husband and I. No, my husband was a stud. He played football.
All right.
Yeah, but Sims has a
Yeah.
theory that everything athletic comes from the
Well,
mom.
the mom's a lot of it. That's what
is
I'd
that
say
what
a
they say?
lot of the times. Not always.
Well.
But that's interesting. So of course
Maybe a little
That's very
agility.
unique. That's a unique theory. I've
Well-
never heard that before. So. That's a good one to have, though. I mean,
This is where it really started. It really started because of the PED conversation with football players. And I said, I think everybody thinks players take more PEDs than they actually do. I said, if you look at some of the parents of these guys, I think you'd understand why they're so big.
interesting.
Right. So where I was trying to squash that beef a little bit. But okay, enough of that.
Hold on, I want to hear
Yeah.
Sam's take on that theory
Yes.
now.
no, I don't have a take on that. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the stuff that we're putting in our bodies.
Yes.
All we know is that it's something certified. We don't
Yes.
know. We don't know exactly what we're putting in our bodies. We just know that it's good for us.
Yes,
and
right.
so because we have nutritionists and all these people
Right.
telling us you should
This
take
is what you need.
This is what you
Right.
need, and so
you don't know the long-term effects
You
or
don't know-
anything. I know.
and you don't
He
know.
went on a rant last week, said take a protein shake, eat more food or less food, go to sleep, do it again the next day.
Right.
Work out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the reason we have Darnold and his beautiful mother, Chris, here
Aw,
is because of
thank you.
K Jewelers.
Just Darnold.
And
I like it.
Just
Yeah.
Darnold. That's your first
Yeah,
name.
no, I
You're
like
just a
it.
one-name
I like
basis
it.
now.
Yeah.
You're that big time.
You're one letter away from it being a first name, Arnold. But of course, Mother's Day is coming up. Celebrate K Jewelers.
Let's do it together.
Every kiss begins with K.
Yeah! I like the Darnold family. I do. I'm a fan.
All right, so I got a hard hitting question.
Yeah.
Sam, I saw in high school you were listed on Rivals at 6'5". Now at
Really?
the
I saw
combine,
that too.
you're listed at 6'3". By my math,
And a half.
in year 5, you'll be 5'10". Are you the Benjamin Button of height of the NFL draft? What is happening? Are
don't
you
know.
shrinking in front of our faces?
I guess so. I think my dad's actually shrunk a couple inches. So
Yes,
I
mine
think-
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'm due. I think I'm due to shrink a little bit. So
I don't
hopefully I don't. But I think I could still be pretty good at quarterback if I do shrink. But we'll be prepared if the time comes.
I think you're all right. Yeah, I think the high school coach, they embellish everything. My high school coach, like when I would put my real weight on things, he'd be like, "I'm telling everybody you're 225," and I'm like, "But I'm not." So don't worry about it. I'll get there one day. All right, so let's just get into a little
Let's
bit
get
of
into some football,
a little
man.
football, because of course we enjoyed watching you play. You're the man. You got a bright future. Just kind of talk about where you're at right now in this whole thing. Are you ready to be done with? I know it's been exciting, but just kind of talk
Have
about
you
what
thought
it's been
about
like.
if you're going to hug Goodell?
Right,
Like, where
right.
are we right
Yeah,
now?
where's your head at?
I've actually decided that I might go in for the bro hug.
The bro?
with Goodell.
Do it.
So
Nice.
I think that's the call. No, but I'm really excited. I've been very excited for a long time for these
Yeah.
few months. But right now I'm really just. Time's moving pretty slow right now. The draft is Thursday. I feel like it's going to take forever to get there. But I'm just, every opportunity that comes my way, whether it's, on this show, on another, whatever it is.
Yeah, Joe
I'm just-
Rogan, yeah.
I'm just, exactly. I'm just looking forward to it. I'm embracing everything, and that's really all I can do.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a little nerves there. But I know that all the teams at the top of the draft are, I think they're ready to win. I think the Browns are doing really good things.
Yes.
The two New York teams are doing great things. All the other teams are bound to win soon.
Sure.
They just need that key piece. The quarterback position is the most important in all of sports, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
No, we're right there with you. No doubt about it.
So, it's just...
Do you have a feel? Do you have a gut right now as far as, you don't have to tell us anything, but do you have a gut as far as who?
Don't tell us. Just tell us if you have a gut.
Okay, cool.
No, do you have any
I don't have a gut
now?
anymore.
He looks good.
I know.
I was going to say, you look slimmed down. Is this your doing?
No, it's no more college life.
Yeah.
I think that has, when he came home talking about nutrition, I was like, yay. Because, I think.
Just like that.
My mom does the same stuff.
They eat late. And
Yes.
they go out, they don't take the greatest care of
just-
themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
Being a college
so
kid.
we eat a good breakfast. We have great breakfast at USC, and then you go to class, and then you only have 30 minutes to get lunch, so you're going to get whatever you need to give you energy for practice. Might be a burger, might be something like that.
course.
Right.
Fries, something like that.
Is he looking slimmed down when you saw him at Notre Dame, too?
Definitely, without a doubt. I noticed it right away. As soon as I saw you after the season, I thought it.
It's kind of his specialty.
Yeah.
Sims is a studier.
I'm an expert at looking at naked men. I haven't seen you naked yet, but I've seen you with tight clothes on.
All right, so
I kind of sensed that right when I walked
Sorry,
in the door.
Mrs. Darnold.
this guy is staring at me a little too hard.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh, my God.
So there's some good nicknames in this draft. I see that your high school friends were calling you our Lord and Savior, the amount of times you'd bring them back. And then I hear that your parents call you Flatline.
Oh,
No.
No.
Was that from an old article?
No, he's just like, that's his.
He's
his
the way he
demeanor.
is.
Yeah,
right.
he's a flatliner. He's not.
It's funny.
He doesn't get too high or too low.
Yeah, so a lot of my high school friends, really the seniors, when I played on the varsity team when I was a sophomore, all the seniors called me Big Red. That turned into Big Red Dog, which then turned into Clifford. And so those were kind of the evolution of my nicknames. And
So we can call you Clifford next year when you start to tear, especially if you went to the Browns. Clifford, the dog with the bone at the Browns and the dog pound. What?
T-shirts
That would
are
be
being
amazing.
made as soon as possible.
yeah, so we'll see though. It's that's what they called me when I was a sophomore because it was kind of a little bit belittling, I guess you could say.
Like rookie
and then
high school.
yeah, being the rookie,
Right.
And then those nicknames kind of disappeared after my senior year. So, but
When you got bigger and stronger than everybody and you were awesome out there, they were like, let's not call him that anymore.
trying to bring it back though. I like them.
Okay. All right.
Well, so my thing is this: is no matter what team you go to early on, you're the guy, right? Like you're going to be the face of the franchise right away. But I'm curious because look, USC's put a lot of number one picks over the years. Is it different? You know what I mean? Like if you're one or two, you're the face of the Giants or you're the face of the Browns. But is it different if it's one? Like why is it different?
Well, I think, and I've said this a few times today, I think it's really interesting, and me and Josh Allen have talked about this. No matter what circumstance it is, whether it's Pop Warner, whether it's high school, whether it's college, the competitor in you wants to be number one in everything. That it doesn't matter.
Even if it means you wait a little bit and you go to a team that's maybe more developed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. I mean,
that
it's still
prestige of one, I'm with you.
It's just something there that's you're the number one pick
Forever.
out of all these guys.
Right.
Like that's a pretty cool feeling. But at the same time, I'd be fine.
Of course.
I'd have to be fine with it. I don't have a choice. But no, it's something I've always dreamed of, going number one. But if that's not the case, then I won't flip the table. So I'll be.
Flip the table.
No.
Do the flip.
But
No, but I'd be
Mom's
really excited to go to whatever franchise, whatever organization wants to put that trust in me.
I mean, you're somebody's number one,
Right.
at least at the very worst.
Right.
Okay, so I find that part of your relationship or this offseason fascinating. Like, Peyton Manning didn't train with Ryan Leaf. Eli didn't train with Ben Roethlisberger.
Or Phillip Rivers.
But here you guys are, the so-called dueling it out for the number one spot. What was it like getting to know him at first? I mean, I'm from New Jersey, so at first I'd been like, man, screw this Josh Allen guy. I'm going to show him who's boss and the hell with him.
He's so nice.
I know, he seems like it. So what's it been like?
So honestly, when I first met him, I was kind of like that.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna show this guy right away. What
Who the
this
boss is.
And then as I got to know him, it became playful, and
Right.
We just really got to know one another, and we're both pretty weird.
Sure.
Off the field, we're weirdos. We like to joke around, but at the same time, we know how to be serious. And when it's time to learn ball, it's time to learn ball. When it's time to practice. Whatever it is, drops or any type of footwork, and then throwing the ball. Whether it's speed work for the combine, anything like that. So we can get serious, but we have really similar personalities, I think.
I want to hear about the weirdo parts. Why are you weird? Because I'm weird. Why are you?
I think he meant
I think we're all weird.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, like,
right? You practical joker,
mess around.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
right.
So
I wasn't sure if you were collecting butterflies.
You're weird because you're sweating in a 45-degree room, okay, and you have a glisten on your forehead. That's why you're weird, okay?
I have a gland problem. I'm just kidding.
No, but and then that's the other thing is me and Josh live together. So we had to get used to that, and
kind of equally messy.
Equally messy there, are they? Huh? Good. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
So you're both messy.
Red flag.
Yeah, red flag.
Sorry.
Drop him off the board.
Second round pick doesn't make his bed.
Why didn't Josh Allen or Sam Darnold go to the Browns? They're moms, so they're messy. So we went with Rosen.
No.
I know. It's all right. All good. So this is another part. I'm truly admire so much about you, and as a player, as a quarterback, you are, like your mom just was talking about, the flatliner. Where did that come from? I would like to know the conversation you have in your brain, okay, when you throw a big interception or a fumble, because it just does not seem to faze you, and you come out firing the next series anyways.
I think it's the same thing with this draft process. I know that there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
I make a mistake. Sometimes you'll see me, hitting the ground, or, I'm not going to throw my helmet necessarily, but I set it down really hard.
Right.
And it's just those little moments where I kind of get ticked off, and then there's actually a moment in high school basketball after a junior. We were playing. We were playing for a league championship, and if we won, we would have won it outright. If we lose, we tie for the league championship. We have to share it.
Right.
And so we end up losing that game. And after I punch my locker, and I actually I have a boxer's fracture. And so that was kind of, where I started to learn I can't react to anything bad that happens.
Yep.
Because if I do that, then only negatives can come out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started to learn, okay, I probably shouldn't do that and just keep everything inside of me.
Yeah.
Which really, it works to my benefit.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like it can come off as me not caring about the game, me not being as passionate, but that's not the case at all. I love football. I love, everything about, scoring a touchdown and going and celebrating with my teammates, but I'm not going to be that guy to run around, and that's just not who I am. A lot of guys rep it, and they do it well. I think if I ran around and
it'd be exhausting.
That and I think I would just make a fool out of I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I love the way you are, man. Don't change.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of the reason that, you're being talked about where you're talking about. I think the New York Giants and him and I have talked about this. I think part of the reason the New York Giants like you and are thinking about you number 2 is because you have the same demeanor as Eli, which is a lot like my father, who also played quarterback for the Giants, to where it just doesn't matter. You can, one day it's going to say you suck on the New York Post. The next day it's going to say you're the greatest thing ever. And to be like that, so don't change, man.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Speaking of media,
He's the best.
which person? Sam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yep. He better spend some of that salary on a Kiss Becomes the K jewelry for you.
I'm his number 1 fan for sure.
Yeah. Oh, he's a mama's boy.
With the necklace.
Oh, he got you there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
from K Jewelers.
Right.
Look at you, smooth, smooth.
I'm wearing
man.
it to the draft.
I'm a mama's boy too. I understand it. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's
Good for
awesome.
you.
So I got her that, little early Mother's Day gift, and then got her it for the draft as well.
Yeah.
You have a girlfriend?
excited.
Really, no.
Okay.
I don't.
Just wanted to make sure if any more of that K Jeweler money was going somewhere else.
And so, but Kate, they've been awesome, taking me around this little media tour I'm doing, and it's sometimes you're not able to express the love that you have for your parents, because if you said exactly how you felt, sometimes it could come off a little weird, and that's just kind of awkward sometimes. So I think the perfect gift is jewelry for your mom, especially.
Yeah.
So I think
Now I want to tell you something.
Okay.
You're gonna cry. Let it out.
It's okay. You're allowed to cry.
I'm saying
I'm ready to
I wanna
cry
say this.
too.
I want to say this. Me and Sims, I'm just going to openly do this in front of you. We've met a lot of young quarterbacks. Some of them we go, oh, that's weird, man. We didn't get a lot of eye contact. They're not really kind of in possession of who they are. Some people we meet and go, okay, this is Pitchman Central.
Yeah.
This is face of the franchise stuff.
This
is the reason why everyone leaves. And I'm not saying it's fake. Not an ounce of that is fake. Not at all.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is if Flatline and all that stuff goes together. You know what I mean? The demeanor and all of that. That's a props to you, props to your husband, and of course, Mr. Dick Hammer, because that came from somewhere. It was coming down.
That's awesome.
I'm curious. Rain on the pro day. My take was that it was on. Was it on purpose?
Yeah, I told God to,
Eat that crap, Lefkoe.
No, because my thing.
Dumb question.
No, because my thing was this.
it on purpose? Did you dial up the rain? And
This is what I mean. When it comes to this process, we focus on these little minute details and we blow them up, like hand size. It's a huge deal and all that stuff. So to do it in the rain to prove a point, I thought it was a master stroke in terms of marketing, because the narrative on you switched immediately, and I was just curious if you felt it change. Like, did you feel after that workout people were like talking to you differently at all?
Well, what was different about it was I didn't throw at the combine, and no one had publicly seen me throw for this whole draft process, and I think just wanting to see that was something that everyone wanted. It was just something I had to check off the box. Obviously, I'm a quarterback. I got to be able to throw. So throwing well at my pro day, and then, I think like a quarter of the way through it started raining, which was, pretty ideal. But it wasn't like the plan or anything.
I was just curious if you and like Jordan Palmer were sitting there going like, look, it could rain.
Oh yeah.
And if it,
what was that? That's what
I
the
mean.
discussion.
Yeah, we definitely thought about it, but it wasn't about, we weren't like, oh, let's move it later so that we can throw the whole time in the rain. It was we're just going to throw it this time. If it rains, it rains. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it just happened.
Because pro days, man, have taken on like this life of its own. Like, you remember the Johnny Manziel with the music, and he was wearing pads, and then afterwards he sold all of his jerseys.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yours was full network coverage. I mean, it was like we were watching the State of the Union.
Yeah, it was. No, it was fun. I mean, it was just another step in this long process, and it's just not throwing at the combine gives some people to something to talk about for a few weeks, and then throwing at my pro day gives people something to talk about.
The media is very simple. We're very easily manipulated, and that's why if you're intelligent enough to look ahead and go, we can control this narrative, it's easy. I want you to put on coaching Chris Sims' hat.
Yeah,
things that you'd like to see Sam maybe perfect a little bit more, work on. What are some things that you think that could really help Sam?
Be more creative than turnovers, because I know everyone's been saying, you turn the ball over, it's like, I know that.
I get that, right? Yeah. But that's the obvious one. I'm not coming at you.
And I've been trying to fix it.
Yeah, yes. Of course you are. I mean, it's not like you were out there. And again, I don't look at things like that ever and let that dictate how I look at the player anyways. Right. I mean, I take into account that you didn't have great pass protection. You had to make a lot of plays on your own. And, of course, when you do that kind of stuff, it's going to lead to some bad plays. I mean, that's just the way it is. To me, what is – I'm not – you know the things that need to be said. I mean, your motion, okay, yeah. I mean, how much did you work on that as far as maybe tightening it up or making it quicker? It's actually kind of quick already.
Yeah, I know. And by the way, I was just kind of messing around.
Oh, you can mess around with me. Don't worry.
It's totally fair. The turnover conversation. I mean, I turned the ball over a lot more than I should have.
We appreciate the ball busting.
Yeah,
it's encouraged.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
You're good.
Okay.
Don't worry.
But yeah, I think we did this thing with. With Wilson footballs, where there's like this new technology coming out where you can see kind of how fast you actually get the ball out of your hands from when you let go of it.
Right.
And I realized that, and also with Soul and Science.
Yeah.
It's a show that Dilfer and John Brankus are doing.
Right.
And they did a thing that showed me getting the ball out quicker than a lot of quarterbacks do.
Yes,
And
I saw that.
Because Marino kind of, and I'm not comparing myself to Marino, but he brought the ball down here too.
Sure.
But he got it out quick.
Right.
So it's just my stroke. Everyone has a different stroke, and if I get the ball out quick, I'm not going to worry about it. But if it does take longer, then I'm going to address it. I'm going to get better at it. But me and Jordan Palmer decided it's not that much of it's not an issue because I get the ball out fast. For me, it's just about keeping two hands on the ball at all times.
Two hands on the ball, that'll limit some of the fumbles or whenever you break the pocket and you drop the ball like that, which is what I did too. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks do. Yeah. All right, so that was the biggest thing you worked on throughout the process, you think? What was the other, like, just if we're being football technical here, that you were constantly trying to stay on yourself about?
I think for me, my feet get jacked up a lot.
Yeah, because you got great feet. You got quick, very athletic feet, but you're just saying they get in some bad positions at times.
Yeah, I think and that also goes along with getting my hips, to open the way that I need them to, and then getting my hips stronger. but also not being lazy in the pocket. I think that's the biggest thing for me is it's not that I try to be lazy. It's just that when I'm going through my read, and my feet are just staying in the same spot. Whereas I got to bring my feet with me with my read. And that's something that I've continued to work on this offseason, and I think I've gotten a lot better at.
Yeah.
But then also, I always continue to work on how to study a team, how to study a defense, with what pressures are guys doing on the back, just all these different things, as you know, and a lot goes into it, and I've been trying to work on all of it, but really focusing on those things that that really stick out as weak points in my game, I guess.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like the part, like the calming your mind, too. Like you've been working on the...
Oh, yeah. Yoga, meditation.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to have to deal with a lot of...
over here in the Darnold household.
No, not my husband. Well, I just think it's good.
Of course,
it is good.
Of course.
It's great. I had a psychologist I used to go talk to, like legitimately. Like no, it was more
it's
about
huge.
It was even about my marriage. It was everything. But you need something there to balance out your life or get some of the problems out. So whatever that is, if it's yoga or whatever, good for you.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying this process as we wrap up this wonderful interview that you guys?
Well, it's been fun with you guys. This is my last one with you guys, and it's been a blast.
Good.
So thank you
Thanks.
for making it comfortable. And
What's it like to see all these people talk so highly of your son, like in this part of the process?
I think the part that it's not as much you guys as like what happened last night when we were at the West End. We're going up an escalator, and half of a high school football team was coming down, and they recognized Sam and the impact that he might have on some kids.
Yeah.
And they came back up the escalator to see if he'd take a picture, and it's just like,
and I said
no. Yeah. Rascal. You're a rascal. No, and so
no, I took the picture.
Yeah. I teach school, so I think just impacting our youth,
Yes,
and the type of person he is what I'm mostly proud of, and the stuff that I see. You guys are awesome.
You should be proud though, because
I'm so proud.
Number one thing is your son he's a good guy, and I've known that from Jump Street, even just watching media interviews and things like that.
And I'm his number one fan.
Good, you should be.
Shout out to Shorecliff Middle School.
After the bling bling.
Yeah.
Shout out Shorecliff Middle School.
Shorecliff Middle School.
PE is going to be crazy next week.
That's
All
right.
Sam Darnold, thank you. Chris, you're amazing. You're beautiful. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
I didn't get enough love. Mom, I love you too. All right. Sam, thanks, brother.
Yeah, good luck, man.
K.com, right there.
Right.
Yep.
K Jewelers.
K Jewelers. Are you going to buy yourself some bling bling when you get this new money? Are we going to get a watch, anything?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get a few chains.
Oh,
maybe
a piece and chain. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Totally.
So maybe some J's.
Okay. Yeah.
Swag.
You're the man. Thanks,
Thank you,
man.
guys.
You guys are funny.
So, I think you could see. I came away and I said it during the interview, even like talking to him afterwards and like hanging out and like seeing his family. Like, I get why GMs look at him and go, I don't think he's going to fail.
Right.
He's quick-witted. He's on his feet. He's a professional. He makes the eye contact. Like, I made it there. I'm just going to be honest. Like, there was a lot more leadership in him and Jared Goff, and I guess that's going to be our litmus test for the rest of time. But I came away even more impressed with him than I did Carson Wentz, just as like a man.
Yeah, Wentz is like a little bit more of a robot. So yes, he was a little bit more just like, oh, I'm Johnny Professional, and this is the way I'm supposed to act. I'm going to act this way. Darnold just. As you could hear in the interview, he's just a good dude, a normal guy, had quick, witty, dry humor.
Yeah.
But yes, it's everything you heard, or at least I heard about leading up to this. And I think it's why, the person is certainly part of what you're drafting. And I think you could feel very comfortable with that person. And I think the thing we talked about, like his mom said, flatline. I think that goes over big with the NFL. A lot of coaches, they love a quarterback that's like that. They don't want a quarterback that ever gets too high, too low. And it's one of the things I've admired most about him in his career, too. It never changes. It's that same face almost all the time.
But you think he did the dishes or Josh Allen did the dishes? That's got to be crazy to live with somebody.
Right? That's
competing
insane.
for the first spot.
Yes, I know. that was another cool part of the interview because he admitted when it first started, I did think like, screw him and I'm going to put him in his place and whatever else. But, that's what happens is you start when you get to this age and you get to the NFL. I remember rookies coming like into the NFL when I was on Tampa and they'd always be like, it's not like as crazy as competitive as I thought. I thought everybody would be like out trying to get each other and stab each other in the back. And no, it's like, I know these are token answers that you and me make fun of.
Yes.
But this players really, when you get to the NFL, you start to realize, wait, it's about me. Like, if I want to get on the field, I better do better. Like, there's no point in me wasting my energy rooting against the guy that I'm listen, do I want the guy in front of me to be the best quarterback ever? No, certainly not. I would hope he maybe slips up, but it's not.
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, Brian Greasy, throw an interception, fuck up this read, whatever it may be.
No.
It's just a waste. That'll affect what you do.
Right.
And that's where I think at the end of the day you learn as you become a pro.
That's just like life philosophy that I always have is you never wish for people's downfall because that thing comes back at you so hard.
Yes.
It's not a zero-sum game. If Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold and Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson could all have great careers, and it doesn't impact their career any bit longer. Yeah. On Sims and Lefkoe, we look for guys that raise the bar, set the bar, are the bar. Well, now we got to figure out for the draft class.
Yeah.
We're getting closer to the draft.
Okay.
Some of these guys don't just raise the bar. They are the bar.
Oh, yeah. I could tell you a few that are the bar right away, right now. His name's Barkley, and he's from Penn State. He's the bar.
Amazing.
He's amazing.
Well, guess what? Setting the Bar is brought to you by the new 2018 Ford F-150, official truck of the NFL, and proud sponsor of the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Week on NFL.com. The Ford F-150, Sims, it doesn't just
raise the bar. It is the bar.
Nailed it.
Yes.
What up, Sims and Lefkoe listeners? Sims, you ready to help these dudes learn how to hire people?
Yes, get them a job.
ZipRecruiter. Hiring? Every business needs great people and a better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. It's not the worst, Sims.
Oh, the worst. I mean, I couldn't stand it. I needed ZipRecruiter back in my day badly.
I agree. ZipRecruiter knew there was a smarter way, so they built a platform that finds the right job candidates for you. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply for your job. Wish the draft was that easy.
Man, so easy. I mean, Bleacher Report would have never found me if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter. I'm just telling you.
In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just a day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them. Businesses of all size trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. Right now, Sims and Lefkoe listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Even Josh can afford it. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/SLPod. That's ZipRecruiter.com/SLPod. So Sims and Lefkoe podcast SL Pod.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got just in case it didn't go over your head.
Yes.
ZipRecruiter.com/SLPod. The smartest way to hire is ZipRecruiter. All right, now we're going to do Sims's mock draft. This is, again, Sims is putting on the GM hat for all of these teams. He is taking the player that he believes they should take when they're at that spot.
Yes.
I'm going to give you 2 minutes for each one just so that we
some of them I won't even need 2 minutes. Like some of these I'm just going to go, this is a pick, that's it.
Then let's see how fast we can go.
Okay.
I'm going to go based off NFL.com, and they have a predict the pick where fans have tried to predict the pick.
Gotcha.
So the first pick is the Cleveland Browns. The fans, guess who they're picking? Sam Darnold,
Sure.
56% of the vote.
Right.
Sims, who should the Browns take at number one?
For me, then first pick of the draft is Josh Allen from Wyoming.
Josh Allen, number one.
Yes, he is. I just think that's the guy you got to go to. Again, listen, the other quarterbacks, they all have qualities that I like, but I think at the end of the day, I look at Josh Allen between being the MVP of the Senior Bowl and really the MVP of that whole week in a lot of ways, the combine, the pro day, the little mechanical things that I might have been concerned about when I watched the film, I don't worry about them anymore. And the more you watch with the film, the more you watch and realize, man, the completion percentage is just a total media fixation of crap. And when you really evaluate it, he makes more wow plays than any other quarterback in the draft other than Lamar Jackson. And to me, there's tremendous upside. And I think where a lot of people are missing out, I know I'm missing my 2 minutes.
No, you're doing great.
Is his floor is like there's no bust factor. This guy's not going to be out of the NFL. The worst this guy is going to be is like the 20th best starting quarterback in football. That's it.
He's not going to fall off the earth. Not the man I've seen, for as smart as I hear he is from everybody, let alone he had the highest Wonderlic score out of all these guys. But for me, that's the guy.
I'm so excited to do the Stick to Football podcast crossover. I know that you and Miller both love Josh Allen.
Okay, that's good.
It's just going to be a very interesting year because a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Number 2, the New York Giants. In terms of predict the pick, the fans are predicting Saquon Barkley with 51% of the pick, Josh Rosen, and then Sam Darnold. Who do you have the Giants taking it to?
I have them going Saquon Barkley.
Gotcha.
Yep. If I'm the New York Giants, I looked at it like this. You're the Giants. You got a quarterback that's still capable of winning, and I'm not so sure in my evaluation that I feel comfortable at the number 2 pick taking a quarterback and saying that the rest of these quarterbacks, at least in my evaluation, are slam dunk NFL franchise quarterbacks for the next 10 or 12 years.
So you're saying the Giants are trying to win now?
I think so, yes. The Giants are trying to win now.
You put on your Gettleman hat.
And I think that's what I would do if I'm Gettleman, yes. Because to me, I don't fancy all these other quarterbacks like a number 1 or a number 2 pick totally just slam dunk. Oh, this is awesome. This is Carson Wentz. I know who they are. But yes, Saquon Barkley, you put that with this team who still has a really talented defense, right? And you're the New York Giants and you have Odell Beckham Jr., Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard, and Saquon Barkley. Good luck covering all 3 levels of the field with that group.
I was going to say, Phil Jackson tried to bring the triangle offense to New York, but Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram, and Odell Beckham might be that triangle offense.
You could have the 2 most explosive offensive players in football on the same offense.
It's 11 on 9.
Yeah, it's amazing. So.
All right, New York Jets are 3.
Yeah.
Predict the pick. The most predicted is Sam Darnold at 61%, then Bradley Chubb, then Saquon. But I think we know they're going for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Which one are you giving them at 3?
Well, this is my evaluation. I will really be intrigued if it's Rosen, Mayfield, and Allen and Darnold are all on the board for the Jets at 3.
You think those are the 3 they like?
I want to know who they would go. I don't know who it is. I don't know, but I'd be interested. But for me, with the Jets and the number 3 pick and evaluating their football team, I'm going Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen is the guy to me. First of all, I do think that his personality will fit fine here in New York. I think he's the most ready. And if I look at this team right now, and I'm Todd Bowles and everything about it too, I go, I want a guy that can come in here and play and kind of take us up to that next level into the playoff conversation. Not maybe into the playoffs, but in the conversation. And I think Rosen is the right guy to do that. He's been in a similar type offense in UCLA. Jed Fish runs like a West Coast offense. Jeremy Bates, my old friend from down in Tampa, it's a similar thing. So he's seen the crossover on film. Now, Rosen's not perfect. I know that. He's not going to be able to do all the movement stuff maybe Jeremy Bates was. But if I'm the New York Jets, Josh Rosen, he checks all the boxes except for just a hair less athleticism I would like.
Yeah.
And maybe the frailness. But other than that, he's a what I would call a dead dick thrower.
So, what?
Yeah, it's just a technical phrase.
Sounds real scientific.
Yes.
Chris Sims' mock draft thus far. He has Josh Allen going number 1, Saquon going number 2, Josh Rosen going number 3.
Right.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Back to the Browns.
Back to the Brownies.
The most picked here is Saquon. He's obviously not available.
Right.
Number 2 is Minkah Fitzpatrick, according to the fans.
Yes.
Where are you going at number 4?
Well, okay. Why did Cleveland want Jabril Peppers if they wanted Minkah Fitzpatrick? You got Jabril. You're stuck with him. Sorry. Okay.
you still hate that pick.
No, I just
Number 4.
Number 4, Bradley Chubb, North Carolina State.
So they leave this draft with Josh Allen, Bradley Chubb.
Yes.
So they're quarterback of the future, and then Bradley Chubb and Myles Garrett. It's a hell of a draft already.
A hell of a draft. I mean, you're in the conversation for the best pass rushing duo in all of football.
I'd say it's behind the Chargers, behind the Jaguars.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's in there.
We're
talking about it. Right. And I look at Bradley Chubb and just go, he's kind of a can't-miss prospect. He can do everything. I mean, if you needed him to play 3-4 outside linebacker, there's plenty of film you could see him dropping back in zone drops. He's very good in space, but he's going to be a defensive end at the end of the day. I compared him, the guy I wrote down was Olivier Vernon when I looked at the notes, right? So
Pro Bowler.
Right. Might have years where he has 12 and 13 sacks. Next year might be just
8.
as effective, but he has 8, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. But I think that's a no-brainer for the Cleveland Browns.
All right, so I'd say right now it's pretty by the book.
Right.
I like what you're doing.
Except we have no Sam Darnold, which it sounds like that's going to happen. And this is where apparently this is is where I'm either going to be really wrong or really right in the future.
It's all about the GM's preference.
Yeah.
Number 5, the Denver Broncos.
Okay, the Denver Broncos. So this is, to me, where it made sense. I did one trade. I don't like to do trades, okay, but this is the time I did the trade.
You got to 5 and you went, there's a trade here.
I think there's a trade just from what the Broncos need, okay, as a team and team needs altogether. Listen, they certainly can use offensive linemen, so like Quentin Nelson crossed my mind here.
Yeah.
There's a few spots, maybe a receiver, maybe another DB.
Not that
but
high for a
regardless,
receiver.
exactly
So
right.
who are they trading with?
So they're going to go with the Bills. The Bills, they
Bills traded to get up to 12, so you're saying the Bills move up to get up there at 5.
Right.
And who are the Bills taking?
This is where, if I'm the Bills, I'm going Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, number 5 pick. Now, I've heard that they don't love Baker Mayfield. But again, Baker Mayfield's the 3rd best quarterback in the draft for me.
And this is if you were the GM.
If this is me, if I'm the GM, yes. I mean, Baker Mayfield's got very good feet. He is a phenomenal thrower of the football. I mean, you're not going to see... You can't see a handful of throws the whole year where Baker Mayfield really misses targets or loses control of the ball. The ball almost is a perfect spiral.
So a lot of people think Baker's going to go 5, but to the Broncos, but you see the Bills jumping up there.
I do, and I think the Broncos at the end of the day, I mean, I just don't see it. I think they're going to be playing with fire and having Case Keenum and Baker Mayfield both in the same... and I think Case Keenum's a worthy NFL starter for right now. I just wouldn't mess with that. I think this is a Bronco team that's kind of close, and I would let the team here ride it out one more year at least.
Josh Allen at 1, Josh Rosen at 3, Baker Mayfield at 5. Sims has 3 quarterbacks going in the top 5. Number 6, according to the fans that have voted, the leader, Quentin Nelson at 81%.
Yeah.
To go to the Colts. Do you agree with them?
I certainly thought, but I do not agree.
Wow.
I do not. You know,
they're not going quarterback. So who are you going here?
Well, the Colts have more offensive linemen than you think. Okay.
A lot of injuries,
right. It's not the worst group in general. You're right. Very beat up last year.
Yes.
And I do think that, you know, they got to look at that and go, that's not like the most desperate need on their football team.
Interesting.
To me, where I look at it and go...
Secondary.
That is certainly one. It's secondary or front 7. They have to have some difference makers. They have no difference makers on their team other than Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. I mean, can you name anybody in their secondary? I mean, that's what I mean. Most people can't.
Vontae Davis?
He's not there anymore.
T.J. Green.
Right. Yeah, right.
That's
and they got this Malik Hooker in the safety, right? They drafted last year, right? But they have no corners.
All right, so where are you going?
I'm going with Marcus Davenport from University of Texas, San Antonio.
Wow.
Yeah.
At number 6.
At number 6. Listen, there's not a lot of people on planet Earth that are 6'4", 264 pounds and ran 4.5. Okay, that's just.
And you like this kid's film.
I do like this kid's film. Now, am I going to sit here
over a Landry, over a Tremaine Edmonds, over a Roquan, over a Derwin? You're going.
I think at 6, this guy is a can't miss prospect. I'm not sure he could necessarily be the superstar Harold Landry can. Right, like Harold Landry has superstar capabilities.
Okay,
but he's not these good all around football players. Marcus Davenport, in my opinion. Davenport, like we just talked about. I mean, almost 34-inch arms with that kind of size, right? I just look at that for the Colts, which are going to be running, right? We got to remember the Dallas Cowboy defense now.
Okay.
They got. I'm blanking on his name. If you can look up the defensive coordinator,
Matt
Eberflus, yes, right. He is the new D coordinator. He came from Dallas. This is the guy that I think could be their next DeMarcus Ware-ish type guy, right?
Interesting.
Right, he's kind of.
I have not seen that anywhere.
So I'm doing it, and I think he's a phenomenal football player and a difference maker, and really a safe pick at number 6 too, to where, you know, again, the floor is like 10-year starter and a few Pro Bowls, maybe. Like it's not going to be a disaster.
It's
There's
funny.
No way.
Everyone that I hear goes, "Well, he played at Texas San Antonio. Can't be that great." But,
yeah, I know. Well,
right,
so Khalil Mack played at Buffalo, but you know, what's that teaching us?
So that's the first shocker. Marcus Davenport going 6. Okay, now we're at 7 for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah,
I don't know where you're going here, but Quentin Nelson.
It's Quentin Nelson.
It has to be.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I thought about secondary here because they are a team that could use some secondary. I thought about like the Minka Fitzpatrick's, even Derwin James crossed my brain. But to me, at the end of the day, we've been talking about no run game in Tampa for 3 years and no pass protection for Jameis Winston.
Their offensive line is by far the shoddiest.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest positional need. And then I also look at it like this, where, okay, I just look at them and go, there's there's some safeties and other secondary players in this draft that they could probably get in the second and even third round where they're going to go.
You were saying the corners were insanely deep.
Right. And those safety nickel hybrid type guys, there's a ton of them. They have Grimes. They did take Vernon Hargraves a few years back in a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
So I just thought this. People might have said DN, but let's remember, Vinny Curry was paid 3 years, $27 million, and they traded for JPP. I have a hard time thinking they're going to do another offseason asset on a defensive end there. So that's why I go Quentin Nelson, who, come on, like we've talked about.
I feel like if Quentin Nelson went second, I'd still be okay with it.
Yeah, you could be. You're right. It's not gonna be wrong. I mean, it's just not sexy. I don't like taking guards at number 2 because I don't know if they can make a huge difference.
And I would argue that interior pass rush is the new way of the NFL.
I think
so maybe you need them.
Maybe you do.
All right, now let's go to 8, the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Where are you going with the Bears? So we got a lot of the secondary guys still available.
Yeah.
You've taken away one of the pass rushers. The best O-line's gone. You going linebacker, you going secondary here. What are you thinking?
Okay, so my secondary thing came to this, right? Because I thought about that, but they just paid Kyle Fuller all that money, right?
They did.
Right? So, and Kyle Fuller's awesome. They re-signed Prince Amukamara as well.
And the number one predicted guy for this pick is Denzel Ward.
Which makes sense, right? That's what I figured. And that's where my mind originally thought. But then when you have to do your research and
what'd you do?
So, okay, I look at that. Then the next place that your mind goes to is offensive line, right?
Right.
That's the other place I look to.
But you've already given away Quentin Nelson.
Right.
And you're not going to reach
Quentin
on a
Nelson.
McGlinchey.
And do they really need an offensive lineman?
People are telling me that, but they're pretty stacked.
Hanasu Garasu, whatever. I can't say his name.
Aronis Grasu.
Thank you.
Cody Whitehair.
They still
Long.
have Kyle Long. Right. Their tackles, I'm blanking out on their names, but hold on, I'm getting there. You have Bobby Massey still. Okay, he was there, and I'm missing our other damn tackle here.
Well, that would, of course, be Charles Leno Jr.
Thank you. So they're not desperate for offensive line.
So then where'd you go?
I went with linebacker. Vic Fangio. He's trying to get his new Patrick Willis, and that's where I go Tremaine Edmonds. Right. It's a 3-4 defense. You want you want a new Brian Urlacher in town. Here you go. Huge linebacker, ultra athletic. Going to be amazing in the pass game and has the size and traits you want for a 3-4 middle linebacker. That's where it makes sense to me. Listen, the guy's a freak of nature. We know that. If there's one negative as we're talking about him out here, it's just I wish he was a hair more of a sledgehammer as a middle linebacker, but he's 19 years old. Like, just turned 19. So
it's wild.
It is wild, but he's the guy for me.
I'm liking your middle part of the top 10. 6, you're going Marcus Davenport. 8, you're going Tremaine Edmonds with Quentin Nelson. These are studs that are getting pushed down because of the quarterbacks.
I think so, too. And, and to me, I just feel like guys like Marcus Davenport always end up going higher every year. And
especially
I sit there
in a year with a weak pass rush crowd.
Right, and I sit there going, Wait. Why didn't I pick the guy that's 6'6" and runs 4.5 to be a top 20 pick? So I was like, that's stupid. He's a difference maker. He's going to go in the top. So
all right. So the most selected guy for the Niners at 9 was Tremaine Edmonds, according to the fans. Number 2 there was Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
So Tremaine's off the board. Right. Davenport's off the board. All of the secondary guys are still there for your favorite coach. Excuse me. Our favorite coach in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan. Where are you going at number 9?
At number 9.
Who are you giving to the Niners?
Yeah, this was a tough one because there is the whole Reuben Foster situation, right?
So do you just slide in Roquan?
And then I thought about safeties too.
Okay.
All right. And like people like that, right? Like I crossed my mind.
Like a Minkah or a Derwin.
Are they going to try to find like their Cam Chancellor because they run the Seattle type defense?
All the corners are available.
Yeah, but they have good safety play. So that's where I was like, I don't think so. I mean, the Jaquiski Tarts, the Jimmy Wards, they're still on this football team, and they're pretty talented guys. So I had a hard time thinking that. So it did. It came back to linebacker, and then maybe a position that most people don't think about, but I do. And again, I don't know this from my buddy, but
where are you going?
I know his brain, and I just think I'm going Mike McGlinchey, Notre Dame.
Really?
Number 9. Yes.
Wow. So you have so what about Kyle's brain makes you think that Mike McGlinchey is the pick?
I think I look at two things. I mean, McGlinchey is the best tackle in the draft, and he's by far the best run blocking tackle in the draft. He's ultra athletic.
Kyle loves a good run block.
Exactly right. I just never Now, how they fill him in here, I don't know. We'll figure it out because they do have Trent Brown.
And you've been saying for a few weeks you could see McGlinchey going top 10 because of the need, and it's tackle.
Yes.
It's kind of what you just said about Davenport,
right?
Where we sit back afterwards and go, of course a tackle gets overdrafted. We see it every year.
Right.
Okay, so you have Davenport at 6, McGlinchey at 9, Edmonds at 8.
Right.
Nelson
And McGlinchey, and you also got to think of the 49ers. You have Staley, right? He's coming to the end. It's going to the end.
Yes.
So McGlinchey's perfect there. You put him at right tackle for 2 years, and then, oh, damn, you got your franchise left tackle for the next 10 years after that.
Yeah, because I think we need to say also that Trent Brown got rated very highly in some scouting services, but I don't know if that sentiment is shared.
I don't know either. And to me, I just go from this standpoint of I've never seen Kyle have a right tackle that looks like that. And just from
what does that mean?
Well, Trent Brown's gigantic.
He likes more of a mobile, fluid. Yes.
He wants a guy that's, like 30 pounds lighter than Trent Brown, who can, make unbelievable zone block, reach blocks.
And you think McGlinchey has that?
McGlinchey was one of those guys where I saw in person all year, right? And I knew how good he was doing the Notre Dame stuff. But when I turned on the film, I went, damn, he's freaking better than I gave him credit for.
You know what's interesting about McGlinchey, and I'll say this about Kyle.
Yeah.
We talk about white space. We talk about the Patriots going on tight ends and fullbacks when people seemingly don't care. The best part about Kyle's offense is it requires an offensive line that other teams aren't interested in.
A little bit, yes.
The rest of the NFL wants big, hulking offensive linemen, and Kyle wants you to be undersized, underweight, and fleet of foot.
Right.
And so he's kind of scouting his own offensive lineman that no one else is competing for.
I would say that to a degree. You're right.
And there's an advantage to that.
There is. He's got a different set of, a different man.
I have a certain set of skills, and that's to block for Kyle Shanahan. All right, number 10, the Raiders. John Gruden is hulking over Reggie McKenzie's shoulder, and he's poking him, and he's prodding him. He's going, I can get my guy. My thought is here. I'm going to guess.
Yeah, please do.
If I were you, I'm looking at the Vita Veas.
Right.
I'm looking at Roquan, obviously.
All right. So but let's just start with the Vita Veas. Good thought, right? And I thought that too.
Just because they've been getting run on for years.
I know, but they got they still have Justin Ellison there, right? So he's a gigantic, and they just re-signed him, so he's there. They have guys like Darius Latham, Eddie Vanderhoos, who played well last year.
Him a lot, yeah.
I'm missing Jihad Ward still on.
So then I'm also thinking corner makes sense because right now it's Gary and Conley, and I don't know. Reggie Nelson's 35 and ain't got it, so safety's available too.
But they got Obi Melanfonwu, and they got the first-round pick from West Virginia at safeties. Those are things that
Carl Joseph,
right?
Yeah, and look, I know Gruden's kind of wanting his offensive guys. So man, a lot of pieces. I'm going to say Roquan Smith because it's Roquan Smith.
I think you're exactly.
Is that
right.
who you picked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's the way to go here. I mean,
Roquan in a Raiders jersey is dynamic.
It is, and again, let's just think Paul Gunther, right? He just came from a Vontaze Burfict. This guy, Roquan Smith, is a more explosive Vontaze Burfict. Maybe not as loose in the hips and the coverage. Like, if I have one negative about Roquan Smith is he's very tight in the hips. Like, pass coverage, one-on-one versus a back out of the backfield is going to be a little bit of an issue, at least in my evaluation for him. But everything else is going to be top-notch.
He's a fantastic.
Great legs. I mean, some of the best legs and ass in the draft.
All right, so let me recap your top 10. Number 1, Browns go Josh Allen. The Giants go Saquon Barkley. The Jets go Josh Rosen. The Browns come back and go Bradley Chubb. And the Broncos make a trade with the Bills, and they select Baker Mayfield.
Right, and part of my reason, again, this would be the only trade, and I really didn't want to do a trade, but I felt like this one was so obvious, and it's about the quarterback and all that. And another reason I did this trade was the Dolphins. I am worried if I'm the Bills about the Dolphins liking Baker Mayfield. Right, so you need to get up in front of him. So there you go.
No, perfect. Colts at 6, shocking the world with Marcus Davenport. 7, the Bucks, finally getting some protection for Jameis Winston with Quentin Nelson. The Bears come back and get Tremaine Edmonds as their new Urlacher. The Niners at 9, maybe a little bit of a reach, but if he's the best tackle in the draft, Mike McGlinchey's the guy. And then the Raiders at 10 go Roquan Smith. That means Sam Darnold is not in the top 5, not in the top 10.
Yeah.
and he's fallen a little bit. I'm trying to think, what are the other fallers? Denzel Ward is a faller.
We haven't said Minkah Fitzpatrick
I haven't said
yet.
Minkah Fitzpatrick, but Sam Darnold, I think, is the one where if he got out of the top 10, I think a lot of people would be shocked.
I mean,
this is Chris Sims GM.
This is Chris Sims GM.
We don't hold no punches.
Well, he's not getting out of the top 10, so I'm going to be wrong on this.
And that's okay.
I'm just telling you.
We're not trying to guess. We're trying to tell you what you would do.
Yes, exactly right.
The rosé's kicking in.
Good.
Number 11. The
11.
Miami Dolphins come up to the board. Sam Darnold's there. Vita Vea's there. So a lot of secondary guys are there, and they're always seemingly drafting secondary guys. Who did you have the Dolphins taking for Adam Gase?
You said his name.
Vita Vea.
Yeah.
Really?
Man, just let go of Ndamukong Suh. And this guy's a freak. It's the ugliest body going to be drafted in the first round, but it's unbelievable.
We didn't really get a chance to talk about Vita Vea.
Yes.
What did you see about this guy?
I mean, literally the first thing I wrote was ugliest body in the draft. I mean, it's pitiful. It's a big,
similar legs to Andrus Peat.
I mean, it's worse than it's not that big and powerful looking.
You're not worried about one bad offseason?
Well, I mean, there's certainly. I said the only negative in this kid's game is like 5 years from now when if he has a bad offseason, does he go from 348 to 378? Right, that would be my biggest worry.
So what is a bad body, Mr. Studier of Bodies?
It means lack of like thick, strong looking legs, right? No hamstring, no quad definition. He had really no ass, and then he had like a huge belly and tire around him.
So then how are you...
Because when he just throws everybody that tries to block him off of him and like shoulders people and they fall down, and he makes people miss with his speed and his quickness, and he's disruptive. It's one of the most unbelievable things to watch in this draft.
Better body, him or Danny Shelton?
I think Danny Shelton's body is a hair better.
Better prospect in the draft.
Vita Vea.
Oh, that quickly.
Yeah. Vea is like, he can be the mosh pit guy that Shelton is, like to make things a mess, but Vea can truly be disruptive, like shoot the gap, and he can get through, and like we always talk about the stat for fucking the play up.
Yeah.
He can be that guy a lot. It's impressive watch, man. And you got to think, too, he fits with what they want to do down there. That defensive coaching staff has a lot of Cincinnati ties. Cincinnati had Domata Pecco all those years.
Yeah.
This guy could be that, where he's your shade nose tackle and your sometimes 3 technique.
Man, so Darnold's still on the board.
I know.
After the Dolphins.
I hope he doesn't listen to our podcast.
Well, he's on it. Sorry, Sam. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
No, just kidding, but not really. Buffalo Bills have traded the 12th in yours to the Denver Broncos. So now that's the first pick for the Broncos.
Yep.
They can get Sam Darnold at 12th.
They could, but they're not.
Where are you going to go?
I'm going to give them Denzel Ward.
So they're getting the quarterback that you said last week they really liked at 5.
Yes.
They get him at 12.
Right.
And he's the first corner off the board.
He's the first corner off the board, and not my favorite corner. So I know that.
I was going to say, what are you doing making him the first one off the board?
So I'm trying to be the GM. And I think, to me, when I just look at it and I was like, you know what, let me be serious here. He's maybe the safest corner, okay?
Gotcha.
So that's where I went.
You've always said he's always in the area.
Right.
He's just not always making a play.
Exactly.
But if you're always in the area, that's an amazing skill set.
It is an amazing skill set, right? Okay. So there's a lot to like there for a team that's kind of really like in win mode now, where I thought like, okay, yeah, I don't like this kid as much as maybe Mike Hughes or J.R. Alexander, but they're not maybe as professional and as polished as he is either.
And you see that in him.
I do see that in him.
Plus, Roby and him will have the Ohio State connection.
Right, and I think he has more of a future in the nickel combination at some point, where he is going to be their future Chris Harris Jr., which I think they value greatly out there.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's where it made sense. And it's the Broncos. The Broncos, I still think, are a team, and if I'm John Elway, I'm going, we can be in the mix of things again here this year. I know we weren't in the playoffs last year, but if
their quarterback play was so bad.
Right, if Case Keenum just plays a little above average, I do think they're a team that's going to be in the mix.
I think if I were to rate the most frustrated NFL players in the league last year, it would be Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders.
I thought about receiver.
Just watching those guys and not even able to get the ball to them was so frustrating. 13 is Washington.
Yeah.
And you could go in so many ways here. What was your thought process?
My thought process here at first was like, okay, do we want to go interior defensive line, right? That's where I kind of went right off the bat.
The most predicted player is Vita Vea, so apparently fans were thinking the same thing too.
Right, so I did think about that. That was certainly part of it. But I still think my evaluation from the end of the season is still the number one concern. To me, the Washington Redskins are in need of talented secondary players. They have Josh Norman, okay, and they really don't have anything else. I mean, nothing proven. I love Fabian Moreau, who they drafted, I think, in the third round. He was a first-round talent that tore his pectoral right in the process, so he didn't really get to play. And then, of course, they traded their other corner this year to the Kansas City Chiefs, Kyle Fuller.
Yes.
Was that Kyle or Kendall? Right.
So are you going corner or safety?
I'm going the jackknife of all secondaries. And that's Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Ooh.
Minkah Fitzpatrick.
I don't know if I can handle him in Washington, Gabe.
So,
Minkah Giants fans and Eagles fans don't like that.
You know, I mean, this is a team that needs somebody that can help their secondary.
I think that's what they thought
just
Sua
quit on
Cravens
their
was gonna
teams.
be, yeah.
Right, this guy is way better than Sua Cravens and a way more explosive athletic. The knock on this kid right here is we didn't get to see him just be great at one position. No, you got to see him be like great at two positions and really good at a third. Yeah. And to me, he's without a doubt, he is going to be in the conversation. If you play him at free safety, at the very worst, he's going to be one of the 3 or 4 best free safeties in the sport from day one.
And Minuski can use him perfectly.
He's great down in the nickel, extra guy in the box. He's going to be able to cover slot receivers, tight ends. But they need a surefire. We need some depth and all-around play in our secondary, and he is like made for it.
11, Miami Dolphins went Vita Vea. Number 12 was the Denver Broncos went Denzel Ward.
Yes.
13, Washington, they go Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know what you're creating.
Right.
In the green room right now, there's a camera on Chris and Sam Darnold. And they are sitting there and they're going, what is happening?
You're lying.
No, I'm saying that's not right now. No, I'm saying like if this was
I
in
thought
draft,
they were in our green room. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you guys like messing with me?
But there's part of me that it's funny to talk about this with the Green Bay Packers on the clock at 14. What if, during this contract negotiation with Aaron Rodgers, they do an Aaron Rodgers to Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers with Sam Darnold? Is that what you predicted?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Who are you going with the Green Bay Packers at 14?
I am going.
By the way, the fan selection was Mike Hughes with 52% of the pick at 14.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They picked him.
Yeah.
I'm actually really surprised.
You think you're kind of higher on Mike Hughes than most people?
I definitely did think I was higher on Mike Hughes than most people, but I have them picking Mike Hughes.
Hey!
I do.
You and the fans. You're a man of the people.
I am a man of the people. I love Mike Hughes. I mean, he was really my favorite corner in the draft.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to put him on the Broncos.
Yeah, I just didn't because of what I told you. I just felt like they needed a guy that they could depend on right now, right away, and that's why I went with Denzel Ward. But Mike Hughes, if they went flipped around whatever way, I really like Mike Hughes. I think this is the way I thought about it. I thought, okay, I looked at their roster. I understand. Like, I don't think offensive line. I thought maybe receiver. I said, ooh, they could go a receiver. Defensive line, thought about it a little bit, but they got more defensive linemen up there than you think.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, it's Mike Pettin. And Mike Pettin, when he was with the Jets, man, he had Darrelle Revis. So he could have one guy on an island, and he could do a bunch of creative stuff with his other guys.
You think Hughes is the best?
I think I think he's the best shutdown man-to-man corner in the draft. I do. Where he can just get in your face.
That'd be a great pick for them.
It would be. And I don't think they really have a corner like that. I know they got the kid King last year.
Right,
Kevin King. You know, he's a taller, longer type guy. I don't think you're going to be able to live with him on an island all game long. They needed this part of their team. And they're in Green Bay. And last time I checked, the NFC North's got pretty good quarterbacks now. It's called Trubisky, Kirk Cousins, and Matt Stafford. And you need some people to cover some people.
I forgot about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
It just hit me.
You gotta worry about that.
All right, so next up is the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona, in Chris Sims' mock draft, is sitting there with Sam Darnold.
Southern Cal's so close to Arizona.
Oh, man. Lamar Jackson, who Bruce Arians is coming out whenever anyone gives him a microphone and saying they should draft Lamar Jackson to team up with David Johnson. The vote online is Calvin Ridley.
Ooh.
I guess people saw John Brown, Jerron Brown depart, and they said they need a wide receiver, and Larry Fitzgerald's getting old.
Yes.
What are you going with for the Cardinals at 15?
That is I'm pulling up their roster, sorry. But
what is your pick?
My pick is
15.
Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
Lamar Jackson's my number 4 quarterback on my board, right? As you know.
So it's funny. I was telling people this week that I want my bold prediction to be that Lamar Jackson will not be the 5th quarterback taken. He'll be the 4th, and a quarterback will fall underneath him.
Right.
I did not think in the draft it would be Sam Darnold, but in your mock.
In my mock,
yeah.
Some have come true here.
So Lamar to Arizona, that war room must be going nuts.
I mean, listen, the receiver thing, certainly possibility. Thought about that, yes. Thought about D-line a little bit. Was kind of all over. Even thought, okay, maybe could they use another corner in the mix there? But then I thought, no, this is a guy that came from Carolina. They don't value man-to-man cover corners like that. I don't think that's it. So
it's a more zone-based.
Yeah. For me, what it came down to more than anything is, first of all, it's the Lamar Jackson, I think, is fantastic. I mean, he's got the highest ceiling in the draft. It's an Arizona Cardinals team it's a small city. It's a small, what am I trying to say? Media market. Lamar Jackson,
they get
to me,
lost in it a lot.
Exactly right, would be just the absolute guy for that type of city, for the team, the organization, the fans, all to go, look at this guy, this bright, shiny object we got on our football team. And it's just going to give them an incredible buzz, and I think he's got an incredibly high ceiling, and it's the perfect situation because they got quarterbacks there, but they don't need them in there right now.
And the last team that drafted a quarterback that had Sam Bradford slotted as starter? Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's crazy.
Why would they draft him? They just paid Sam Bradford $20 million. Well, because he got to camp and they went, oh, crap, Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So you're at Lamar.
I'm going Lamar. I mean, the receiver thing, listen, I understand that. That's the one where we could talk about it, right?
But you're not high on those guys.
I'm not necessarily high on them. They have good tight ends. They have David Johnson coming back, and the receiving core is not horrible, and there is a lot of receivers to pick from in the 2nd and 3rd round, so that has to go into these decisions.
All right. 16 is the Baltimore Ravens. Sam Darnold just leaned in and said Baltimore randomly called him recently and said, just want to make sure your number's right.
Ooh.
That actually happened. Are they going Sam Darnold?
They are not going.
Wow. All right. So Mike McGlinchey was number 1 for the fans. Connor Williams is down here at the 3rd pick. Are they going tackle? Who are you picking for the Ravens?
I'm not going offensive line for the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens offensive line is fine.
Ronnie Stanley and all those boys.
Ronnie Stanley, Ricky Wagner. I mean, Emmanuel, Jermaine Elmanure, Alex Lewis, Marshall Yanda. I mean, this is one of the better offensive lines in football when it's healthy. So
people forget that these offensive lines get hurt.
Yeah, they were hurt last year.
I saw Peter King in his article was talking about the Chargers' offensive line was beat up, and I could see them going out. And I was like, "You're out of your mind."
No, I don't.
They were beat up, and they're all coming back.
Right.
All right. So where are you going with the?
To me, it was
Ravens.
I thought about wide receiver. Right. I thought about tight end.
And they just got Willie Snead.
Right. They just got Willie Snead. I thought about tight end.
Max Williams.
And I just said, you know what? No. They need a difference maker on the front 7. They need a new Terrell Suggs, and that's where I'm going Harold Landry.
Harold Landry, that would be awesome.
Yeah, he is the guy that I look at that, first of all, could be the next Terrell Suggs. I mean, he really could be. But phenomenal football player. Really the most natural pass rusher in the draft. Coming off the edge, great bend, great get off. I liked all those things about him. And he's just a badass, and he seems like a Baltimore guy. I think that fits.
The Ravens are that team that when you look at their roster, you go, how the hell did they not do more last year?
I know.
Next year, I mean, the fact that their wide receiving core is going to be Willie Snead, Michael Crabtree, and John Brown. They got Brashad Perriman stashed away somewhere.
Right.
Their O-line is deep. They need another running back, I think, to balance out with Alex Collin and Javorius Allen and all those guys. But their defense, Brandon Carr, Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphrey, Tony Jefferson, and Eric Weddle at safety.
That's what I mean. I couldn't go I wasn't going to go corner.
No way.
They took a first-round corner last year.
And they're really good at picking, like Carl Davis in the 3rd, Chris Wormley in the 3rd,
Right.
Brent Urban in the 4th.
Right.
They're Brandon Kafusi at the 3rd.
Exactly.
They're great at drafting those guys later on.
Right.
But Terrell Suggs, 1st. Mosley, 1st. They like that position early on.
What
so
you know what I mean? Just to me, that makes too much sense. And I'll say this is inside info, right? This is like, I just remember this conversation I had with John Harbaugh last year, and he just said, we need to get a little younger on the edge of our defense. Got to get a little more athletic over there. Yeah, and that stuck with me. When I came up to this pick, I was like, man, I love Harold Landry for the Baltimore Ravens, and then I thought about what he said to me, and I was like, yeah, I think this is the time to do it.
And Chris Sims has a mind like a bear trap. All right, now we are down at the Chargers at 17.
Oh, but Sam Darnold's coming to town.
That's it.
He's coming to town.
San Diego, Sam Darnold's Los Angeles Chargers.
And if you're trying to take over the fanfare of Los Angeles.
Wow.
And first of all, this is where I think people are missing on Sam Darnold, okay?
By the way, Sam Darnold told me that the Chargers asked for his phone number, too.
Good. They should.
Breaking news.
But this is where I think people miss out. Sam Darnold, again, I've been saying this the whole time. He's a top 20 pick, definitely. He's not a slam dunk number 1 or number 2 pick in my eyes.
17 too.
So, yeah, it's just not a slam dunk number 1 or number 2 in my eyes. That's all I would say. And I think where people miss out, too, is, these are the things that, he's still raw. That's where, that doesn't say number 1 or number 2 pick to me either.
Flacco was 18, my bad.
Okay, either way, you were close enough. But, again, the Sam Darnold, he certainly has a skill set where he can be extremely successful. But I'll just say this. He's, of course, very young. From everybody I've talked to in the football world, they say he is the farthest behind on football knowledge, right?
Oh, really?
Out of the 5, yeah, he's the farthest behind. So he's the most raw from that standpoint. We talked about his feet being a little raw, his decision-making being a hair raw, the turnovers, all of those things added into it. That's why I just go, I don't understand the number 1. He's definite top 20, like I said, all of those things, which is amazing, right? And he can be a superstar, and I might be wrong. He might be the number 1 guy. Maybe I'm wrong.
You just right now don't see the value of taking him in the top 5.
I don't understand that. Yes, I do not. I do not. To me, he is perfect for this situation. Go behind Phillip Rivers, learn the offense a little, fix some of those mechanical things you have, and they're going to unleash him, and Southern Cal's going to back him, and it's going to be the perfect move 2 or 3 years from now.
Now's the time to bring him back in. Sam Darnold and the family, get in here.
They're going to bring their laser point guns in here.
What's funny is I was talking to someone there, and they said, the Chargers can make a run at a Super Bowl. Why would they take a quarterback now?
Right.
And I said, because you're being short-sighted. You think they need a piece right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that they can make that run without a draft pick.
Yeah.
What you need to realize is when they make the switch to a rookie quarterback, you get a 5-year window, if he's a first-round pick, that you get to spend your money everywhere else.
Yeah.
So imagine the Chargers right now with not all that money going to Phillip Rivers.
Right.
You could get more running backs and wide receivers and defensive linemen. You do it for the window. And Phillip is nearing the end.
Yes.
He is.
Right.
He's still a baller.
Right.
He's still hilarious. He's still going to curse people out in his own weird words.
Yeah.
But, man, Sam Darnold to 17.
So there he is. Sam Darnold at 17. Listen, the Chargers, they certainly could use maybe a D tackle. I thought about there. Maybe a free safety, certainly. But Sam Darnold was on the board.
Yeah, defensive tackles were, I thought. Just big people in the middle.
Yes. It was just, I don't know. Again, I'm just telling you this is what I would do, and this is how it shook out. And I did this for 2 days.
He's been just...
I've been truly sitting there going like, man, okay, I'm the GM of this team.
Me and Fendrick were in the green room with you earlier, and you didn't notice, but you were sitting there, and you were like rubbing your eye, and you're like holding your head, and Fendrick leans in and goes, he's like really stressed right now. I was like, it's a stressful time.
And I don't... you guys are catching because I was thinking about not putting that trade in this draft, right? Because it was kind of bothering me a little bit because I don't want to be that guy, but this one was so obvious. I just thought, okay, let me do it. But yeah, so whatever.
All right, so whatever.
Hey, it's Howard Beck, and I've got Kevin Pritchard on Bleacher Report's The Bull 48.
They've overachieved wildly, and every single game, sometimes I leave the arena, I go, how did we win that game? But we keep doing it, It's like we played well down the stretch in the last 4 or 5 minutes. We can be a tough team, and we've lost close games, but we win our fair share too.
So check out the full 48 now on the Bleacher Report app or subscribe at Apple Podcasts.
From executive producer Jordan Peele, Tracy Morgan is back.
What?
In a new TBS series that the New York Times calls a gritty, funny comedy.
I just did 15 years in prison. What happened to Brooklyn?
Starring Tiffany Haddish.
I'm gonna bust in there like the Kool-Aid Man.
And Cedric the Entertainer.
You thought she was just gonna wait for you? She just got lost. She got lost on another man's bouncy house.
Don't miss Tracy Morgan's return to TV.
Second chances are a beautiful thing.
The Last OG, Tuesdays 10:30, 9:30 Central, only on TBS.
The Seahawks are standing pat at 18.
Yeah.
Where are they going?
The Seahawks.
Offensive line?
I thought about offensive line. There's a few more players on their roster at the position than you think, right?
I don't know, man.
Yep.
So, hold on. Who'd you pick? Hold on, let me tell you who the fans pick. The fans are saying right now the number 1 is Derwin James. That's right. He's still available for you. Number 2, the fans pick Will Hernandez, the guard out of Texas El Paso. So they're both available in your mock.
I thought about giving both of them to them. I certainly did.
But instead.
But let me just say this, okay? First of all, they got Justin Britt's their center. They drafted the Ethan Pochik kid last year, right? Okay. So he's on their roster, okay?
But I'm not putting too much into DJ Fluker or Risa Diambo.
No,
and
I know.
Jermaine Ifedi really didn't sell me a lot last year.
I hear you. It's not the prettiest group in the world, but at some point they got to start making some of these assets work. I mean, Dwayne Brattle's still there. Willie Beavers is still there. George Fant, their starting left tackle, is still there.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let you sit here after talking about George Fant being a basketball player and then make it an argument like he's there for depth.
Well, okay, but he was still a starting left tackle, nor was he. I know he wasn't great, but when he got hurt, he was getting better. We were saying that too. Yes, we made fun of him. So my bottom line is I didn't go offensive line. I went with Derwin James.
Derwin James.
I mean, they need a new Cam Chancellor. Do we even know if Cam Chancellor can play football this year yet? Has that been said?
Has not been confirmed.
Right.
No.
That would worry me.
That's kind of a fall there, too. Derwin James falling to 18 is seemingly like a big fall.
It does. For me, Derwin James, yes, it sounds like
we're going to have him on the podcast on Wednesday.
Very real possibility he goes in the top 12. Because
I've heard everything from 7 to the Bucks, even the 6 to the Colts, to around this range, 8 into the early 20s.
Yeah.
So he'll be a guy to watch on draft night.
Yeah, I mean, even the Redskins who we talked about, and I had them take Minka, like that would certainly be in their conversation as well.
It depends on what your preference is. And I'm sure there's teams in the NFL deciding between those two guys.
No doubt about it. I really like Derwin James. I love the attitude in which he plays. He's like a Deion Buchanan to me, more like that way. He's an in-the-box type safety. You don't want him in space or covering people. If there's one weakness to his football game, it is short area quickness. Like, I don't know if he's necessarily going to be great at that, but as far as running straight ahead and playing with attitude and physicality, man, Derwin James is like he's a better version of Cam Chancellor when he was coming out.
Wow. All right, so America's former team, Dallas Cowboys, taking it at 19. You going Calvin Ridley here?
Nope.
Ooh, you going DJ Moore here?
Yes, I am.
All right, I knew they have to go wide receiver.
I mean, do they, or could they have gotten linebacker? That was it. So I became between him.
Who were you deciding?
Him
between?
and Rashaan Evans. It was one of the two. Because they did lose Anthony Hitchens, and are you really going to gamble the farm on Sean Lee and
my answer
one-legged Willie?
I can't call him
Jalen Smith.
Sorry, no, because I'm not worried about them.
I didn't.
I'm just saying that's hilarious.
Yes.
I look at the Cowboys, and I believe that Sean Lee gets hurt every other year. Yeah. So I think that Sean Lee will get hurt probably this year. I don't want that to happen. I like Sean Lee. So you went between Evans and DJ Moore, your top wide receiver.
Yeah.
And you picked Moore because you looked at their wide receiver core and went, wow, this is bad.
Exactly right. I just said, I mean, really? I mean, can we do this? You can't go out there with that group. And then their offensive system, it's not the most creative in the world. Anyways, they like to use just simple mechanics of basically going.
And is that why you like more than Ridley? Because Moore can create on his own and Ridley,
Definitely. Yes. I mean, yes, that's exactly it. I mean, Moore is the kind of guy that teams, when they play the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to go, damn, are we really going to put the extra guy in the box and leave him one-on-one with Moore? Damn, I don't know if we can do that.
It's now, as an Eagles fan, I'm realizing that the Giants might have Saquon and Odell, and if the Cowboys have Moore, and you've spoken this highly of him and Zeke, it's matchup nightmares.
Oh, yeah. Moore can be spent
with Dak's ability to run.
Yeah, right. And Moore can do like Percy Harvin stuff, too, where he lines up in the backfield and plays tailback in college. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. You know that. I've said that from the start. He is certainly he's the best receiver in the draft with the ball in his hand. And even though he's only like 6 foot, maybe he's 6'1", I don't even have the measurables in front of me. Either way, he's a phenomenal 50-50 ball catcher.
That's scary.
To me, it just made too much sense.
We are now at pick 20. Matt Patricia and the Detroit Lions with Bob Quinn as their GM.
Yeah.
Depth on the D-line. Linebacker. I think their O-line is better than some people think.
Do too.
They've needed a running back now for years, but I don't know if there's a guy worthy of this pick, and they need to replace Eric Ebron. So where are you going right now with Detroit?
They were one of the more intriguing teams here.
They have a lot of possibilities.
You're exactly right.
I like some of the linebackers they signed in free agency.
Yep.
So where are you going? You going D-line?
Well, it came down to cornerback, running back, tight end, and D tackle. You hit on them. I think you were exactly right. This is basically what it came down to me.
The fans are picking Daron Payne out of Alabama.
Oh, I thought about that, certainly. That was certainly went through my head. But let me look there. There's a little more size and big people on this defensive line than I think everybody realizes. They'd signed a Sylvester Williams. They got Akeem Spence. They got Ashawn Robinson. And they got a lot of guys that are 6'2" and 6'3", that are 295, 300 pounds. The Anthony Zettles.
And Kerry Hyder will come back healthy.
Exactly right. So I looked at that and just said, man, I don't know if I see that here. Now, then my mind did go bad. Would they go Sony Michel here? Maybe something like that, get a running back? But this is Bob Quinn in New England.
They're not doing that.
Yeah, right. They're not doing that. So then I went tight end. And I thought, man, tight end could be a possibility. This is New England. They believe in that.
But they just signed Luke Wilson.
Right.
But I don't know if he's,
Toilolo's there. But the big thing it came down to me is, who's the new head coach?
Patricia. And the man needs corners.
Exactly.
So who'd you go with?
Jair Alexander.
It's a great pick.
Thank you.
It's a great pick for that.
Me and you were sitting here like this is real.
It feels good.
It does.
It feels good.
Yeah, they're a team.
And he could be a punt kick return option.
Exactly. And how many times we're always talking about, man, they need another playmaker in the back end. It's just Darius Slay who we talk about. I understand that there's other good players, but they need a true difference maker. Matt Patricia loves to play man-to-man.
Yes.
Now he has this guy he can put on an island with Darius Slay.
I'm not trusting Deshaun Shedd, who they signed, or Nevin Lawson. I think if you have Darius Slay and Jair Alexander, and Glover Quinn took that step up this year,
Glover's a good player.
You suddenly have 3 of 4 really good defensive backs, and you're playing Aaron Rodgers, and you're playing Kirk Cousins, and you're playing Mitchell Trubisky.
Exactly.
All right, so that is 11 through 20.
Yep.
So you guys have heard the top 10 already. If not, hit rewind. 11, Vita Vea to the Dolphins. The Broncos, having traded with the Bills at 12, take Denzel Ward. Good value there. Washington gets Minkah Fitzpatrick at 13. The Packers get Mike Hughes at 14. The Cardinals shock the world and go Lamar Jackson. The Ravens get their new Terrell Suggs and Harold Landry. The Chargers, Sam Darnold at 17. If it happens, you're a genius.
It's not
Seahawks at 18 get Derwin James, their new chancellor. Cowboys go DJ Moore as their new Dez Bryant. And the Lions go Jair Alexander at 20. So who are the big guys that you haven't taken yet? I'm trying to think.
Well, there's a lot here. I mean, really, none of the other offensive linemen have gone. There's no Calvin Ridley, right? There's no Daron Payne. Our Rashaan Evans, we talked about it, linebacker. He's still there. The tight end, Hayden Hurst, is still there. I
was going to say the number one fan pick for the Bengals at 21 is Rashaan Evans.
Right.
And because I feel like the Bengals have needed linebackers now for the last 5 years. I feel like every draft it's like they could use a linebacker, but now with Vontez seemingly, who knows?
Right, suspended for 4 games.
Right.
They did sign Preston Brown, right, as a linebacker this offseason in free agency.
And they did trade for Cordy Glenn with the Bills.
Yes, so they got the tackle. And at some point, again, I just look at it and go, damn, I thought about offensive line, but
at some point you just got to let the guys you drafted, like these guys, like the Chip. What's his name from Oregon? I'm blanking. Fisher, right?
Jake Fisher,
Cedric Ogbuehi,
right?
Like they got to play. They can't abandon ship on first and second round picks 3 years after. So to me, I just can't imagine them going O-line again here. To me, the biggest thing they have an issue with is they need big people, and that's where Deron Payne comes in. They have no more Domata Peko.
No.
They were the
it's
30th.
Andrew Billings and Geno Atkins right now at the starting tackles. It's not big enough.
No.
They did sign Chris Baker, but he's not that big either.
He's like, you want him to be like a rotational guy. You don't want him being your star. There's a reason he's been on the Redskins and the Bucs.
And you like Payne.
I like Payne a lot. I mean, so they're missing their Domata Peko, right? This is the 30th ranked run defense in football last year. I mean, everybody ran the ball down the throat of the Bengals. Yes. Payne is like, Geno Atkins getting up there in age, and Payne is like a guy who he's strong enough to be that shade nose tackle to where you go, just take on double teams.
How does he compare to A'Shaun Robinson?
I think he's a better player than A'Shaun Robinson coming out. Yeah. Wow. I was really impressed. Do you remember who my pro player comparison was for Deron Payne?
No.
Kawan Short.
Oh,
I really thought he's got a big time.
Now Bills.
No, Kawan's still the Panthers, yeah. The Bills got Starlo Lele from the Panthers.
Right.
But, yeah, so the Deron Payne right there.
All right, so is this the Broncos pick at 22?
It is the Broncos pick.
So you're giving 22 and 12
I know.
to the
I thought
Broncos.
about being cute and being like, I'll give them pick 12 and next year's second and third. And I was like, whatever. I'm just going to give them. I'm not Johnny fucking Draft Man.
So the Broncos trade down from 5. They get Denzel Ward at 12.
Yeah.
And then where do they go at 22?
Yeah, a few things I looked at. I mean, I looked at the receiver a little bit. Demarius getting up there, and Demaniel, they're both in 8 years in the NFL. But I think at the end of the day, I had to go O-line. To me, there's still question marks on that O-line. I know they got Garrett Bowles at left tackle, but you got guys like Ronald Leary, who's a good player, but in and out of the lineup, been hurt a lot, didn't play as great last year. You got Menelik Watson at right tackle, who has been hurt in and out of lineup his whole career. So if I'm a John Elway, I just can't sit there and go, ooh, yeah, I'm content with this offensive line. They're going to be fine. I'm going with my big man, Will Hernandez. Is it Will? Yeah. Yes. From UTEP.
You like him?
Yes.
Oh, geez. That was deep.
He's good. I mean, I won't be shocked if he went somewhere between 10 and 20 before this. He is...
Especially because we talk about how hard it is to find good offensive linemen.
Yes.
That when they come around, I can understand if they're overdrafted.
Yeah, I totally can. Added to the fact, like you made the great point before, interior defensive linemen have become so popular. And offensive linemen are so hard to find coming out of college right now.
Especially think about that division.
Yeah.
You're facing Khalil Mack, Von Miller, and the Bosa and Ingram bad boys.
Right.
You need offensive linemen for whatever quarterback's going back there. And you know what? So what's a better duo? The Browns leaving, and this is kind of self-explanatory, but Josh Allen and Bradley Chubb, or the Broncos trading down and getting Denzel Ward and Will Hernandez?
Yeah,
that's a pretty good pull.
It's a really good pull because Hernandez is really impressive.
And you were saying, too, that if the Broncos didn't make the trade with the Bills, you could see them just staying pat and taking Quentin Nelson at 5.
I do, yes. If I didn't do that,
another good guard at 22 is pretty good.
Right, it is. And this guy is, I mean, again, for his size, this guy, he's 6'4", okay, and he's 346 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't realize he was that big until I started watching. And I just
346,
348, yeah. And
he carries it well.
Really carries it well. He doesn't have the greatest legs that I always like. He's a hair top heavy, but man, the film it speaks for itself.
Just for my brain,
yeah.
How much better is Quentin Nelson than Will Hernandez?
It's not. What do we got it as?
You have it as 15 picks.
It's not 15 picks better.
Wow.
No, it's. I think after I got done, I said, Quentin Nelson's definitely the best guard in the draft, but this guy wasn't that far behind.
So he's your number 2.
He's definitely my number 2. He's a really impressive football player and more athletic than his combine drills showed, too. And you get to see him against big-time competition.
Now, I could talk about Will Hernandez going to the Broncos at 22 for a long time, but I need to tell you, the Patriots are on the clock.
Oh, the Patriots.
The fans are picking Colton Miller, tackle from UCLA.
Yeah.
Who's Chris Sims picking?
Well, it certainly fits, and I thought about that, yes.
Rashaan Evans is still on the board.
Rashaan Evans is on the board.
Is that who you went with?
Now, the Patriots, though, they have still just a ton of linebackers. So when I sat there and watched them, you pulling up their roster, I just thought, man, I don't know if I could see them quite doing this. And this is the thing I came back to, Lefkoe. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but I just think if I'm running the Patriots and this is the style of play we play, who's their other corner right now?
Their corners right now are Jason McCourty and Stephon Gilmore. And then Eric Rowe and Jonathan Jones. So which corners were left? You're not going Josh Jackson, I know that.
No, I'm going with one of my other favorites, Carlton Davis from Auburn.
And you think he'd fit that system well?
I do. I mean, Carlton Davis is one of the least talked about guys. He's a definite first rounder for me. I think he's going to be the name that's going to shock a lot of people when it comes up because
you're going to be like, yes, good pick. And everyone else will be like, what?
Who? Yeah, what? We took the best tall corner in the draft who ran 4.5 and covered every receiver in the SEC man to man and shut them down. Oh, how dare we? Yeah, he's one of these guys for whatever reason flying under the radar because there are some sexy names, I guess, at that position. But man, the film speaks for itself. You talk about in-your-face, man-to-man type corner, unbelievably long arms, and for a tall guy, too, his short area quickness, ability to change direction, whatever way you want to phrase it, is top-notch. 6'1", 206, ran 4.53. He plays faster than 4.53 on film to me. He's better than Artie Burns was coming out. He is a really, really good football player. Like, I will not be shocked in 5 years if people go, Carlton Davis is the best corner in this draft, or maybe the best corner in football. He is that kind of player, and I will not be shocked.
I love it. All right, so number 24. So Calvin Ridley's still out there. Josh Jackson's still out there. Rashaan Evans is still out there. Number of other big names were Carolina at 24. Where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about O-line or corner. Those were the two things I thought about. Now, I'm not sure if there's quite a corner on there that really fits it at this point in the draft right now. O-line, I know they lost Andrew Norwell. They have people on their O-line. I don't think they're decimated there. I don't look at them and go, oh, if they don't get an O-line in the first round, they're screwed. To me, I look at it more and go, damn, if they don't get somebody else for my man to throw the football to, they're screwed. And that's where I'm going with Calvin Ridley.
That's a pretty good pick for them.
It is
just a solid wide receiver.
And he's not my second favorite receiver or my third, but that's exactly why I'm doing it.
He's not your second or third?
I don't think he is, no. I think I had Moore and DJ Chark ahead of him, right?
Wow.
But to me, again, almost like the Denzel Ward to Denver here, I got to take a guy that I know can come in and play and be smart and just be dependable right now. And Ridley is the most polished, NFL ready. His necessarily explosiveness and what he does with the ball in his hand does not excite me as much as some of these other receivers in the draft, but he's going to be able to do it all. They can't do a big receiver like Cam Sutton. They already have Devin Funchess. So if they do the big receiver again thing, I don't even know what to say. Curtis Samuel's okay.
I hope with Gettleman gone, it's changed a little
I would hope so too. Curtis Samuels, you can't depend on that quite yet to be your number two.
It was too easy for him to get hurt.
So it did seem like that. So to me, yes, that's the play here, Calvin Ridley.
I think Cam Newton would appreciate that.
Good.
25. The Tennessee Titans. The first thing that comes to my mind is I need big people in the trenches.
Yeah.
That's what came to my mind.
Sure. And I think that's part of where my thinking is here, too. I don't think they can go offensive line. I don't see that happening.
Their offensive line's good.
It's great, right? I mean, I couldn't get over how many people had the mock taking offensive line. I was like,
I'm seeing one right now.
I mean, they took 2 tackles in the first round 2 years in a row. I mean, they have Josh Klein is one guard who they just gave a ton of money to. They have who's their center? Ben Jones from the Houston Texans.
So I'm going to predict that you've already given out Landry.
Coach? Who's the head coach?
Vrabel.
Right.
So Rashaan Evans.
That went into my mind, but there's another.
I thought you were going to pick Taven Bryan of Florida.
I thought about him too.
The defensive tackle.
They're a little bit better on the interior D line than when we like you and I. Benny Logan's there, right?
Right.
You got to remember.
I forgot about
you
Benny.
got Jarrell Casey, you got Daquan Jones, you got Austin Johnson, right? So to me, that's what kind of played into that, and I was like, yeah, okay. I'm not sure if that's the way they go. Come on, who's Mike Vrabel in this draft?
It's not going to be Leighton Vander Esch.
Exactly. That's who I'm going with.
But you don't even. Why did you pick him there? You're the GM. You're not a big Leighton Vander Esch fan.
I'm not necessarily I'm not in love with the guy. I get that. But I think this is where I came into my rationale. He can do a lot of different things right away at the linebacker position. This is a new scheme. They've lost Avery Williamson.
Yes.
The kid has potential. There's no denying that because of the size and the athleticism. It's very apparent. Do I wish he played more physically? Certainly. But I think for a guy where I think ultimately he's going to be on the outside.
Is it because you watched the Patriots in their pass offense destroy the Titans linebackers that you thought we need to get a linebacker that can cover better?
They definitely need that. Yeah, it's truly a positional need, right? And I also go into Arakpo's getting up there, Derek Morgan are getting up there, and we know those names, but they're not nearly as good as we think they are.
Right.
So that to me is where he comes into play. And I just felt like, I've been tough. I was tough on this type of guy with J.J. Watt last year, T.J. Watt, where I was like, I wish I had a little bit more. But I think what sometimes I underestimate is just their value to the NFL game is actually more than in college. And I think that's where a guy like this, because he can play outside linebacker, if they needed him to play 3-4 inside linebacker, he can do that. But at the end of the day, I think Vrabel's going to have a guy that can do a lot of different things on his front seven, and he's going to look at him and go, kind of reminds me of me when I was coming out.
Yeah, I got you.
I play into that sometimes.
Falcons at 26. The internet is saying Isaiah Wynn, the guard out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Second pick is Wake Forest, safety Jesse Bates, and then Billy Price, center from Ohio State.
I like all of those.
But you're going.
I'm going with Taven Bryan.
Your guy out of Florida.
From Florida. Yes, I am.
Put him next to...
they lost on Terry Poe.
Yeah.
People got to remember that. He can play D-tackle. He can play D-end. He could be basically the Michael Bennett of this defense to a degree. He's a bigger man than Michael Bennett. But man, is he unbelievably disruptive and athletic.
So you want the Grady Jarrett, Taven Bryan combination?
I think so. I think that's what Seattle...
I saw a workout video of Grady Jarrett.
Right.
Man's over 300 pounds and has a six-pack.
He is...
So
a
you
true
put those
specimen.
two guys together.
Yes.
That's pretty gnarly. And then we get back to why interior offensive line are so important.
Yes. Dan Quinn, I just think he's going to want his defense and his front seven to be a little different. I think a little bit more of a difference maker.
Yeah.
And, their offensive line, what's the desperate need there? I know it's not perfect, but damn. It's pretty good. They run the ball good. They pass protect good. I don't sit there and go,
Eagles were able to run on them too.
The Eagles were. Yes, yeah. The Eagles overpowered them. That game went exactly, remember how we said it. They can make it ugly and just overpower them, and they did that. So
27 the Saints.
27 the Saints.
What are you giving Sean Payton, pal?
The Saints are one of those...
Number one from the fans was Dallas Goedert. South Dakota State, the tight end.
Yeah, I certainly could see that. The Saints, the Eagles, and the Jags truly can make what I would call fuck you picks. Our team's
picks.
So good, and we can just pick the best player available or the one that excites us the most, whatever it may be. I think the Saints, the thing that makes sense to me is Hayden Hurst, the tight end from South Carolina.
Gotcha.
I think he's better than the kid from South Dakota. First of all, he's a better blocker. That's what I could tell you for sure. I really was impressed with Hayden Hurst on film. Hayden Hurst is some little athlete, first of all. He brings it blocking, Lefkoe. He will try to knock people's heads off. I really like that about him. I think it fits what their offense wants to do.
And it fits Sean Payton.
Exactly. And he's really good in the pass game. Really good. Like a good route runner.
Because
they
you
give
know
him
what the
speed
Saints needed?
sweeps. They give him the Travis Kelce stuff. I know. And really, he fits in perfect. Listen, the Saints, maybe pass rusher. I don't think there's a pass rusher on the board right here that's worth taking at this spot. I think Hayden Hurst is the pick. They don't need an offensive lineman, in my opinion.
Yeah, unless you're going to reach for a Lorenzo Carter or a Rasheem Green, and it's not that value.
I thought about it. But their defensive line is really
Arden
good.
Key,
right. And I don't see them that way. Lorenzo Carter is a better player, but he's not a top-tier pass rusher. He's going to be a great, strong, good defense end.
You think Hurst could end up being a little special?
I think Hurst can be special, yes, I do.
Next up is the Pittsburgh Steelers at 28.
Well, this is, it wrote itself. Who got hurt? What linebackers on the board? Who got hurt for them?
Oh, I can't believe that your linebacker is still there.
He's still there.
Rashaan Evans.
Right. And I was like, damn, okay. And it's not like I intended this to happen, but I just was like, oh, this makes too much sense. Rashaan Evans is on the board, and this was their biggest
This
issue.
is random. I'm going back.
Yeah.
If the Panthers took Rashaan Evans with Thomas Davis and Kuechly, would that fit?
Well, yeah, it would, but are they ever going to let the kid they drafted in the first round out of
Shaquille?
Shaq, yeah.
Mason.
Not Mason. Thompson.
Shaq Thompson.
Yes, Shaq Mason's with the Patriots. But
But the Steelers and Rashaan Evans would be just a match made in heaven.
A match made in heaven. I mean, this is what they need. They need that athletic middle linebacker. Evans has come from a 3-4 defense. He'll be used to a lot of the stuff they do here. And yeah, I mean, their middle linebacker play was a huge reason they lost to the Jaguars in that AFC Championship or a divisional playoff game. And it was an issue from once Ryan Shazier got hurt. Then on, they need a difference maker on that part of their defense.
Jaguars at 29.
Jaguars at 29 are in the, like I told you, the up your butt Joe Boo pick here. Because what do they need? Tell me. I mean,
quarterback.
Nothing. I thought maybe they could go receiver, but I looked at their receiving core and I said, damn, I mean, they got a lot of good. And Tom Coughlin's a receiver coach, and he's probably like, I'm not going to waste a first-round pick on a receiver. I can
Peter
find more.
King gave them a wide receiver, too. But right now they have Marquise Lee, Dante Moncrief, Rashad Green, Jalen Strong, Dede Westbrook, Keelan Cole. Shane Wynn.
I mean, how many do they need?
It's a lot of weapons.
I mean, Dede, we know how much they...
I would bet my money on Lee, Cole, and Dede.
Yes, right.
Those would be the three I'd bet on.
Right. I mean, Dede didn't play the whole year, and it came to week 12, and they were like, yep, you're starting. You're in the game.
If I was Jacksonville, I'd probably go for offensive line depth.
I thought about that. I did.
Just because I don't know how their offensive line made it work last year, and I know there's some good interior linemen, but who did you go with?
Well, there is some good interior. I mean, but why? What their offensive line was good last year.
I know. I'm just saying getting depth.
And they signed Andrew Norwell, right?
I know.
I'm just saying. I'm just talking it out with you.
I just say when in doubt, I like adding offensive linemen.
I hear that all the way.
Just because they get hurt all the time.
To me, the biggest thing, again, for a team that is the most well-built team in the sport right now, this is the best roster in the game. Don't get it confused. They're number one. I only looked at them and said they need a nickel corner. And I'm going with Dante Jackson from Iowa.
Ooh.
I mean, not Iowa, LSU.
Dante Jackson from LSU, and he's a weapon.
He's a weapon. Now, listen.
You're right, because they just lost, what's his name?
Colvin.
Aaron Colvin.
To the Texans.
Yes.
And I don't see that guy in their roster right now. And this is a team that's ready now.
What a good pick.
So to me, I just look at that and you go, you need that guy who could be like free safety.
And LSU players seemingly always pan out.
Right. And the only issue you have with this guy, he's 5'10", 178. Okay.
So he'll live in the nickel.
He is going to live in. He's made for nickel.
Yeah.
That 178 is even light for a nickel. I get that. But man, Denzel Ward and them aren't that much bigger. I mean, it's not that much of a difference. Man, I just watched the guy play the whole season in the SEC, and there's just NFL running backs and receivers all over the place, and he just takes them to the ground like they're nothing. So that, to me, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm trying to win the Super Bowl, that's what I'm doing.
Minnesota Vikings at 30.
Minnesota Vikings.
I'm going D-line.
I know. They could
big people.
They can certainly use depth on their D-line.
But what did you do?
I just think they have a bigger need.
Where?
I think their interior offensive line, the Bergstrom guys not playing, I think they go guard here. That would be the play for me.
And which one?
You just gave $90, $100 million, trillion to, so you got to protect Kirk Cousins. I'm going with my man Daniels from Iowa. I'm blanking on his first name right now. I have too many names in my head. He's Iowa center. That's what he is to me. Here it is. But
his name is James Daniels.
Excuse me. So James is the best center in the draft. I don't think he'll play center just because they have a center, but I would say James is the best guard in the draft too for me. I don't really
Quentin Nelson?
I mean, other than him. Okay. And Willie Hernandez.
Okay.
He's the next guard, though.
So he's the third best.
Yes, he's the third best. But yes, I look at him and just go, listen, whether they want to play him at center and put Elflein at guard, or they want to just make this guy the guard. But I just looked at Rick Spielman, what they've collected at the guard position. It's usually somebody along this type of frame of body that's not overly huge, bulking type of guy.
Yeah.
Can move, has some athleticism.
Fits the cookie cutter mold.
I think he does. He's 6'3", he's 295. He's got incredible get off, incredible punch. I mean, quick hands. He's really a tremendous center. So that's where I was like, I don't know. Maybe I just go with a true guard here. But I just don't think you can go wrong with having this guy starting as
He'll figure it out.
He's going to be fine either way. I just go, man, maybe they should just make him the center and make Elflein the guard. But Elflein's a good center, too.
All right, let me recap 21 through 30 before we finish the last two picks. 21 was the Bengals. You had them taking Daron Payne, adding a big man in the middle. The Broncos are able to get Will Hernandez with the second of 2 first-round picks they get from the Bills. The Patriots, Carlton, Davis out of Auburn, the corner for the replacement of Malcolm Butler. The Panthers then come back with Calvin Ridley at 24. The Titans get Mike Vrabel Jr. in Leighton Vander Esch. Then we go to the Falcons, and they're taking Bryant from Florida, the defensive tackle, as in their new Michael Bennett. The Saints go Hayden Hurst, the tight end out of South Carolina. The Steelers come back and get Rashaan Evans, who's made to wear the black and yellow. The Jaguars are going to go Dante Jackson to get their slot corner to make their Super Bowl run. The Vikings then go Mr. Daniels out of Iowa to figure out their offensive line and shift him from center to guard. And now the Patriots at 31. Where are they going?
We said his name already. Colton Miller.
So instead of taking him at 23, they're able to wait and get him at 31.
I certainly could see that happening. I
don't know if he's going to last that long.
I don't know if he will either.
There's going to be a run on tackles.
There certainly could be. I mean, yes, there's some teams in front of them that could, but I also looked at a lot of those teams that were in front of them that could and just go, damn, I mean, they have other needs where I just thought it was risky. Like, they don't have to worry about too many teams between their pick at 23 and to where there's not a whole lot of tackle-needy teams there.
Up, yeah.
Right.
Colton Miller, could Dante Scarnecchia make him one of the next great Patriots tackles?
I do think he could be. I mean, listen, when you look on NFL.com, like Lance Zierlein, he even compared him. He goes, who is he? He wrote Nate Solder. I get that. He's a lot like Nate Solder coming out. He really is. He's 6'9". He's 310 pounds. He's got incredibly long arms. So he fits all the measurables that the Patriots believe for in tackle, right? They don't necessarily have to get him out there in year one. They have tackles ready right now. So it's not like a desperate thing. But I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's an important position. And I think that he could be left tackle or right tackle year one, whatever way he can get on the field. Eventually, he's going to be your left tackle. He's a little stiff at times. I wish he could be a little lower off the ball.
Right.
But either way, pass protection, he's very athletic and with those arms.
Another great two-player draft for a team. Yeah. The Patriots getting those two.
Yeah.
And now, the Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, select. Who are you giving them?
I told you already, right? So you can't act too surprised.
I don't remember who you
don't remember? Okay,
no.
Good. All right, so what did you want to do? What do you think your Eagles want to do?
I am someone that wants a linebacker just because I don't trust Jordan Hicks. I think when in doubt, we can always go offensive line and add some interior O-line depth there.
Which you could. The value is there for some guys.
And there's going to be a lot of good interior offensive line. And then I could also understand the going and getting a Sony Michel at running back.
Yeah, I get that too. I know.
So you're going with?
I'm going with DJ Chark, receiver from LSU. Yes. I mean, the running back thing I thought about. But damn, I mean, you still got Wendell Smallwood, Corey Clement, Jay Ajayi. I mean,
Corey Clement's the reason why I don't need them to go for a running back, because I believe he's going to take a huge step forward.
That was the name that sold me too, because I thought about Sony Michel here. To me, other than Barkley, Sony Michel is the only other first-round running back.
Did you watch Corey Clement in the Super Bowl?
He was incredible, right? And
you're going wide receiver, but then Mike Wallace is speedy already.
Yeah, but Mike Wallace is what, year 9 are we talking about here? I mean, trust me, it's year 10. He ain't running like DJ Chark is right now.
So you see Chark as just a weapon that they don't have in their offense right now.
Exactly right. I think DJ, again, you guys are a team that can kind of just draft anything. I don't think there's a linebacker there that's worthy of that 32 pick with the other guys off the board already. Mm-hmm. So when I looked at it, the offensive line thing certainly came into play, but you still got a good amount
of offensive line.
I have faith in Halipuli Vati.
Yeah, and I just looked at your receivers, and you don't really have that guy. I mean, Mike Wallace he wasn't good last year in Baltimore. It's hard for me to just go, oh, okay, he'll be the guy. I mean, I just go, man, you got Carson Wentz with, our big man Alshon Jeffrey and Aguilar working the slot, and then you got DJ Shark that people are going to have to worry about going, holy cow. DJ Shark is one of these guys in the draft that I don't understand why there hasn't been more buzz about. Really good route runner, 6'3", a little over 200 pounds. Oh, yeah, and ran the fastest time in the combine, and I just don't understand.
Yeah.
And also I was just going to say, also, the thing that drives me crazy is I feel like if his stats were better, people would put him up there, and I want to go, well, have you watched the film? Because if he had a quarterback, he'd have an extra 400 yards easily. Because all those plays that should have been 70-yard touchdowns ended up being 40-yard completions because he had to stop or come back. Or the quarterback didn't even throw it. Or he threw it so bad, he couldn't even make something happen with it. So I look at it and just go, so if he was a guy that had like 1,200 yards receiving, I feel like everybody would be like, oh, he's a top 20 pick. Look at his measurables, his size. He's got it all. Good route runner, adjusted the ball well. I mean, that would be awesome if you guys got him there.
Don't sleep on Matt Collins.
I know, he is. He did really well.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
How does it feel getting your mock draft out there?
It feels good. I'm just glad I'm done with watching film and crap. Holy crap, it was stressing me out.
On Wednesday, the Stick to Football podcast and the Sims and Lefkoe podcast will be coming together for a GM roundtable. Sims will be my pro player personnel. Matt Miller will be my head of college scouting. And Connor Rogers will be my director of regional scouting.
And you're going to make the picks?
And I'm going to be the GM, and we're going to run through probably the top 5, just because I think that's when it's going to get crazy.
Right.
I want to hear you guys arguing about the quarterbacks and all that stuff.
Okay.
It's going to be good. Tomorrow, we have which people? Josh Rosen.
The Rosen one.
Bradley Chubb. And then we're going to see who else. But that's going to be just some player interviews tomorrow. And then also we're expected to have Derwin James with us on Wednesday. Big week for the podcast. And then Thursday, live draft. Be sure to check it out on the Bleacher Report Facebook page. And you can stream it in the BR app. So make sure you watch that. We're doing every pick. We're not slowing down. We're only giving you the goods. For Sims.
Peace out, homies.
For Fendrick.
Good evening, everyone.
And for the Lefkoe.
Man.
That was Chris Simmons' mock draft. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back all this week. Join us. See you soon.
Hey San Francisco Giants fans, are you ready to be taken out to the ball game? Want more Giants baseball in your podcast feed? Then check out the For the Fans, By the Fans San Francisco Giants Edition podcast. I'm a lifelong Giants fan and your host, Benjamin Shapiro, and in this show, me and my friends will bring you a weekly dose of all things San Francisco Giants baseball from the fans' perspective. It's like the sweet left-handed swing of Will Clark, but for your ears. So, if you're ready for more Giants baseball, just search FTF-BTF, which stands for the Fans, By the Fans, wherever you get your podcasts, or go to FTFBTF.com. That's FTFBTF for the Fans, By the Fans, San Francisco Giants Edition podcast. Subscribe today. Warning. Subscribing to this podcast is scientifically proven to have no impact on your health. Not subscribing to the For the Fans, By the Fans podcast is like rooting for the Dodgers. It's pure evil. Go Giants.